please watch your comments. Watch your comments where you're typing, because YouTube is been saying we should respect the community standard. To Niger said, barely 700 years ago, Africans were buying and selling white slaves. About 120 years ago, England were selling wives in the marketplace. Things can quickly change. Why do we think that things will not change again? The world is just a rolling, and anything that happened can still happen again. Okay. I mean, I was just reading that that comment out to us. You know, it's so powerful for us to know that, yeah, if it happened like that, why can it happen again? You understand? So thank you very much, Niger. And good. Yeah. Elena, I think you still have to repeat that number, and Gerald, your session going. But over to you, Elena. What about
that? Sure. So, going back to your question, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me reflect on what I wanted to say. Jenny destabilized me a bit. I was enjoying what she was saying, but yes.
Wait. Enjoy this other one. I mean, of course, you guys all are reading the comments. Look at what Anu is saying. We don't even want to buy anyone as slave. So
we just need our freedom. That's it. Point.
I mean, I'm telling you, that's why I love. I love being here. I can't lie to you, ladies, and you guys just experience it. Our audience is what I cherish. The Africans that are always here on the Pan-African Daily TV with me.
100% agree with you. To ask that, is Africa really ready? And that goes to the people who believe that things they happen analog or it happened all of a sudden. No, nothing happened from the blue. There's nothing happened spontaneously. The question is that, are we ready? There's a preparation meets opportunity. That's what luck is about. Are we prepared? Are we ready? Are the Nigerian ready? Are the Gabonese ready? Or this is so that's the question that Rudolph, I see that you're asking there. And again, you went ahead to say why are Africans why are France getting away with this? And that's where Tunanja comes into play here. We don't get nuclear weapon. So anybody can do and undo. If we get nuclear weapon, they will not judge the...
Hold on. Okay, you just talk in a way that, sometimes it makes me mad. When you say we know gates, who gave the people that got it?
No, that's what I mean. I know those. I just talk. We get them.
We have no gates.
We don't get. Now we don't get. Say we don't get. We can say if you didn't they. We don't get. Oh, why you want to put that for my head? Put that for my head. I'll get now. She'll get now.
If you had the ambition, if your goal is,
you ask the question. Why? We don't get nuclear. We don't get nuclear.
We don't get. Now we know. If you had,
why don't you get it? Why don't you get it?
That's why you are not. That's why then. Why don't you get it? Why don't you get it?
That's not the question you are. That's not the question you are. Right? I'm asking the question. Why I didn't get with it? And I reference with this paranoia kind of respect him, right? They say only the paranoia survive. We don't get nuclear weapons, so anybody can come and dance, play as he or she wants, right?
Come here. You are lucky. I don't know if you are lucky. I don't know if you know one of our panelists. Forefathers. I need to talk about trying to Africans away from Africa to the West. But I certainly hope
the day is here. This is a 2-in-1 video, and I will answer your question onto why Kenyan women are getting married to Nigerian men, or why Kenyan women are dating Nigerian men. And then I want to reply in general, because the owner of this video happened to reply like 5 comments through videos insulting women who are dating Nigerian men or women who are married to Nigerian men. First and foremost, the reason as to why we are choosing Nigerian men is because Nigerian men are so loving, they are so caring. Nigerian men know the value of a woman. Nigerian men respect women, and women are their first priority. You have failed as Kenyan men Today, let's call a spade a spade. You have even been ranked the most irresponsible men in Africa. I am not saying all Kenyan men are bad. I have had bad and good experiences with Kenyan men, and I know there are good and responsible Kenyan men out here. Do not get me wrong. Again, I would like to talk to Kenyans because 60% of Kenyans hate Nigerians. You really hate Nigerians. You label Nigerians as smugglers, fraudsters, scammers, da 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 da. You as a Kenyan man, are you good? No. You as Kenyans, are you any better? No. Why do you have to drag a certain nationality simply because you don't like them? It's not all Nigerians who are bad. It's not all Nigerians who are good. I know there are a lot of Nigerians who are a nuisance, who cause nothing but problems in these countries. But we also have very bad Kenyans. How many scamming schemes do we have in Kenya? That is, you want to tell me that there are no scammers in Kenya. You want to tell me that there are no smugglers who are always caught in JKIA smuggling. That is what you want to tell me. See, let me tell you something that you do not know. How many Kenyans have been deported from UAE due to drinking, irresponsible drinking? How many? Wengi sana, lakini hiyo hamtawaiona. Lakini Nigerian mmoja afanye tu kakitu and everything goes viral. The reason as to why the rate of single mothers is very high in Kenya is because of our irresponsible men. Wanawake wamepotelea huku Gulf kwa sababu ya failed marriages and failed relationships. And here you want to insult Nigerians day in, day out. You are the same men who are against women who are married to white men. You are very bitter online because we have chosen these men over you. I am dating a Nigerian. My Nigerian guy is Yoruba, and I'm not going back. It is not your place to tell people what to do and what not to do. It is not your obligation to tell women who to get married to and who not to get married to. As if you do not have sisters, as if you do not have female friends, as if you do not have people who you can call phenomenal women in your life. I don't understand why you are always bitter with Nigerians, why you are always bitter with women who are dating Nigerians. It's high time. It's high time we call a spade, and you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be thinking of how to get civilized as a continent, as a country, you as a person, you as a man, not going against women because they are married to a certain race. It's disgusting. It's very shameful. It's disgusting. Ni wanawake wangapi wamekufia in the hands of Kenyan men, irresponsible Kenyan men for that matter? How many stories have been aired by Lynn Ngugi on YouTube concerning victims of GBV in Kenya? Nataka kuniambia watu hawakufangi Kenya. Nigerians tu ndio wanajua kuua watu. Why are you crucifying other sinners for sinning differently? Because yes, they are sinners in front of your eyes. You are crucifying them because they are sinning differently. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense? Package yourself, come out for road, I beg. Look at this one. In the meantime, let me go and take care of my Yoruba gang. Let me go and prepare egusi soup.
Yeah, thank you.
You're bad.
Good
You
morning,
Nigerian.
morning, afternoon, evening. I don't know how to. Depends on the time of day where you are. This is an interesting discussion because I thought I should address this because it's a short one, really. For me to address this because there is this discussion that was being had, and I felt like the issue from the discussion that I noticed was that people have a kind of difficulty understanding things that are associated with groups of people. they often relate individuals to groups and vice versa. And that is a problem because it makes you reach the wrong conclusions. And you can see, I will show this video because you saw the video of the lady, what she said. And then the reaction from the Kenganda. I have to, because they are the main people I'm reacting to. They are very good at discussing these issues. I tend to find them very enlightening, and they do share quite good opinions. I have to give them credit because they do a lot of good work. But on this discussion, I was really surprised, given that they are quite advanced in their capacity to discuss sensitive topics, that they just completely fell flat in the name of telling the truth or something. That it says something about 2024 about telling the truth. Maybe you are revealing your bias or your inability to truly understand. Because maybe before you're pretending to understand, but you really didn't. But you just didn't understand what the lady was saying. The lady clearly stated, you all heard her. She clearly said, Kenyan men, some of them are good, some of them are bad. Nigerian men, some of them are good, some of them are bad. But she just felt like, on balance, as a baseline tendency of a collective group of people, that the Nigerian men tend to be better at certain areas than this in Kenyan men. It's a legitimate opinion for people to hold. And I don't understand why people feel, whenever somebody says that, they'll be like, oh, shut up. There are bad Nigerians, there are bad Kenyans, there are good Kenyans, there are bad. Yes, that is true, but there's a tendency, isn't it, towards certain baseline behavior. You can't ascribe the same attitudes to women as like Muslim Arab men versus Western this thing or European men, white men. You can't. They are not the same. They don't have the same baseline. You see what I mean? So, and that is what people have trouble with. They have trouble with understanding that people have baseline, but it's not generalization. You can have a baseline of tendencies, but it's not generalization. And people, I think, people struggle to understand that sometimes there are things that are not entirely anecdotal. It's not individually based. It's based on group behavior, culture, and certain tendencies that people have. And the fact that they started talking about it this way is really strange. But you are going to see the video. I'm going to show you, because they first talked about it being, in a certain way. Then they went on and contradicted themselves again, because they started doing exactly what they said. Human beings are weird like that. It's really strange. But I'm sure I was like that once, where when you talk about things, you group people together, then the next minute you start talking about it individually, then you go back and group people together again. And this is why we never get anywhere, because you don't really understand the topic you're talking about. All right, let me just play this so people hear some of the discussions.
We'll just jump right in. Watch this clip with us and react to it with us.
First and foremost, the reason as to why
we have seen this part of the video, so I'm going to let it roll.
Nigerian men are so loving, they are so caring. Nigerian men, no men, Kenyan men do not have to drag a certain nationality simply because you don't like them. It's not all Nigerians who are bad. It's not all Nigerians who are good.
Okay.
Damn. Jesus Christ.
She sounds like she found herself a Nigerian man and she's willing to go to war to defend this man. I hope it's good.
Before we let Gaba, that part about Kenyans not liking Nigerians.
Yeah.
I was in Storytime Music. I was in Nairobi in 2018 when I first met Warden Maya. And we were going to the Yaya Center. We were staying in Westlands. So we needed to make a payment to the owner. Somehow he was not able to come to get the money in cash, so we had to pay him by M-Pesa. So upon arriving to the Yaya Center, we didn't really know how M-Pesa worked. So he was going around asking people, hey, I need some help trying to send this money to this number. Can you help me? And nobody was helping him, right? And we found out was they thought he was a Nigerian, he's Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Right? So nobody would help him because they felt like he was a Nigerian scammer. So I found out maybe from that experience, I don't know how true it is, but when I talk to Kenyans, in my short interactions with them, and whenever Nigerians come up, there does seem to be a little bit of a discord, especially with interactions between Nigerian men and Kenyan women. I have heard about that a lot, whenever it comes up, and so I will tend to believe, she said 60%, I don't know the number, but definitely I feel like that tends to be an issue in the country.
Well, I think Nigerians have a certain reputation, like she said, oh, you're calling them scammers and whatnot.
Mhm.
But I think that's a reputation that most Nigerian men have in most countries,
Mhm.
because the Nigerians who go to those countries, maybe sometimes some of them don't represent them the best way. So I do see where some Kenyans come from, because they think most Nigerians are scammers. Even in Uganda here, when you see a Nigerian, the first thing you're thinking, oh, is he a Yahoo boy? You're not thinking, oh, this is a legit businessman.
But who else complained about East African men before?
Everyone. No.
Play that clip.
What I'm trying to say is East African men here, they're very stingy, because, this topic came up because Oshe was saying he empowers African men to empower women. But
here, another East African woman, I think she's Ugandan, if I'm not mistaken, and she's saying similar stuff. You see how people struggle with this, understanding this? Like, you have the same experience. At the same time, you go back to the stereotype, and because the stereotype has a baseline of merit, isn't it? Because when you keep finding Nigerian men involved in scams and all the rest, you use that baseline to judge with other country men's baseline, and you find that Nigerian men will emerge there. Hence why people associate Nigerian men with scamming. It's not inconsistent. Is still consistent, but it doesn't mean that most Nigerian men are scammers. It really doesn't mean that. It's just that they are just more scammers that appear on the radar than compared to other African distinct men. It's just that the same behavior, and hence when people make that statement, you should understand where they are coming from. You don't just go out and start saying, "Oh, you're lying," and all the rest of it. It's not the reason why sometimes I challenge the statement that Nigerian men are scammers and all the rest is in terms of the global this at the global level, and in terms of the income that they get from it. So it doesn't seem to match the reputation that they have, and that doesn't seem fair. You can't have two criminals. One of them is a pickpocket that picks pocket on the train, and the other one is a bank heist. This is a robber that robs millions of dollars from a bank. They are not the same thing. They are two different categories now. And if the guy that picks pocket on the train is the one that is always been touted as the greatest, the scammer and the criminal and all the rest, that doesn't seem right, because it just seems as if you are missing the bigger picture, because that person that has stolen millions has done far more damage than the one that has just picked a pocket. The pickpocket is negative. They are all negative, but one is greater than the other. Just like number two is greater than number one. It's just that simple, and people struggle with understanding these type of things, and it's okay. Human beings, I was like that too.
These African men don't be empowering women. They empower themselves. Well, Osha is putting money in their pocket. That money stays in that pocket. It does not cross over to any woman. And the videographer, Brivian, who's in charge of today and who's going to edit this, said he left a girl on the expressway. Do you guys understand? On the expressway? The expressway on the road. Something similar happened to me. A guy dropped me off at work and he made me cross the road. He could have dropped me inside. Okay? But because he just said, you know what? You can cross. Imagine putting my life in danger. The road is very busy, but he made me cross. Kohani had another incident. A guy made her pay for gas for her to be dropped off.
Actually, Jonita said the same thing.
Me?
Why is there... Why are, because you said something very similar about Ugandan men.
Sorry, this is one of the areas I want to be going back, skipping the video now, because there's no point going, repeating it ourselves, because it's just going to go forever. What I really found interesting was that this guy is actually a very intelligent guy, very, very clever. In short, all of them are very, very clever people. And but his analysis on this was, I think it was tinged with a little bit of I don't know. he lacked a little bit of objectivity. But let's just hear what he said.
Why is there? Why are because you said something very similar about Ugandan men, East African men, that she's saying.
Yeah.
They're not romantic. She said, why is that?
Well,
an ongoing thing.
If you've met a Nigerian, you know Nigerians give you 150%
of what?
Of everything they have. Okay, not like the energy they have. Like they do not just approach you with, oh, here's some peanuts. No, they approach you like, here's the whole bag. This bag will never get empty. Eat as much as you can. That's how most Nigerians approach them. So when they do approach some girls, of course the girls be like, oh yeah, no one has done this for me before, so of course I'm going to lean towards the Nigerian man till they get their heart broken, and then they learn a lesson, and then it's just like, yeah.
Is that what happened to you?
What? Why are you asking me?
Did you? Because you kind of felt very strongly in the way that she felt. So did you have that as a personal experience?
When did you see that? Right now?
No, we just watched the clip. So
which clip? No. The clip where I was saying the men are unromantic, but I was just shooting shots at Outer Brian. He's not here.
You see what I mean? She said it herself, and now she said it again, and she expressed a form of almost a kind of regret or bitterness about it in the end because of an individual experience. It still doesn't make the overarching statement she made earlier on inaccurate, because there are tendencies, even in Nigeria, even Nigerians know, if you ask Nigerians which part of the country, which region of the country do you like the men from, you tend to hear, if you ask the women, you tend to hear a certain region that they prefer the men from that region. They will win hands down. The same thing is happening continentally, and it's probably going to happen globally. I don't understand how sometimes people struggle with this kind of information, because it's happening all the time. So we should be used to it by now, that people compare things. They always do. And I don't think it's racism. I don't think it's prejudice. It's just a way of people talking, because that is the way you understand how to talk about these things. It's just how you understand to talk about these things. And people that know better should not necessarily just jump at their throat and just start calling them, you're biased and all kinds of nonsense. Because it's like what somebody said, like when you see a color and they say you see a color and you call it, like on the screen now, you see that green color there. People call it green, but from the point of view of a physicist and people that truly know, that thing is anything but green, because it is rejecting the green spectrum. That's why you see it as green. It has every other color in it but green. So, but it's not green. So in other words, it is not really green. So you see what we mean? The way you look at things, you have to learn how to decipher things properly to truly understand where people are coming from. I don't think, for me, the issue is not what she said, because that's individual stuff. It's what this guy that I consider quite clever said about it. That's what I found a little bit weird, because it tells you that we are all susceptible to these sort of things. I'm probably going to do the same thing too. Maybe I'm doing it right now for all I know. Where he just became a little bit, off. I must say he was off. Let me just play him what he said.
I find it problematic when someone uses generalizations to describe men from the entire male population of a nation. You Kenyan men are failing, right? Those Nigerian men are the greatest shit since sliced bread. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not true. Not all Kenyan men represent that which she finds objectionable, and not all.
And she said it. So then he goes on. You're here. She said all that. She said not all. She has good experience with Kenyan men, and she has good experience with. As a matter of fact, she was quite balanced. If you look at it, she actually spoke more like what you would expect, what I would expect anybody to talk about these type of topics. And yet they still have an issue with her. That makes them a little bit biased about it.
Nigerian men represent that which she is saying she loves so much in terms of being affectionate, etc. The generosity, the affection, the love, the kindness, the caring. Not 100% of Nigerian men are like that. And conversely, not 100% of Kenyan men are the type of men that she doesn't want to have a relationship with. Clearly she's biased.
She definitely
maybe
is.
she's found love with a Nigerian guy, and she's putting on for her dude to make sure that dude tops up her post-Christmas allowance a little bit more generously than he.
See, that is where I feel like there's no, he's losing perspective. That comes across as being a little bit bitter. I don't know why people do this. You can't just come and start denigrating what she said. Go talk about the issues that she raised and acknowledge that people have baselines. It's just as simple. Like African Americans have baseline of behavior that many black people admire. Europeans have baseline that many people admire. Different people have different things that people admire about them. It doesn't make those people, those opinions invalid because they are actually true. It's when, even when people are biased in terms of racially, they say things in terms of racial stuff. It's when it is toxic. It's when it is negative. That's when it's an issue. If it's a positive thing, I don't see why people have to turn it to something, mangle it and make it ugly. Because we just want to discriminate and we just want to say, oh, anything you make about generalization by the people is bad. It's not necessarily bad. It's not generalizing, especially when that person has qualified it and said, not all of them are like this. Not maybe 60% of them are like this. The person is just saying there's a tendency. There's a baseline there. And baselines are true. Obviously true. If you say Europeans wear winter coats, is that generalization or is that a baseline of facts? They wear winter coats. You don't expect Nigerians to be wearing winter coats. So I don't know how we got here. Our education system is not doing us a lot of good in terms of knowing how to talk about things on a large scale. They're not doing us a lot of good because this should be relatively simple to understand. Let me play on.
Ordinarily would, because she overspent a little bit this December season, right? But I genuinely think that anytime I see a woman ranting and raving about, oh, men are bad at this, men are bad at that, yo, trust me when I tell you, I'm sorry for the trauma that you've been through.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the struggle that you've been through and trying to establish a relationship that you can feel joyful and proud about, but that's your struggle.
Yeah.
Don't make your struggle our struggle. This is not a collective struggle. That's your individual issue. Stop trying to make your bad choices something that other women need to be in fear of, right? And similarly, men shouldn't categorize all women from this group as that which he experienced, because O'Shea's issue is not my issue.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, that's always a thing that rubs me the wrong way when I see videos like this, when I see people, not just women, people from all genders, right? Because, we're inclusive around here, right? People from all genders just ranting and raving about that which they don't like. Talk about what you want, right? I firmly believe in the law of attraction. I firmly believe that if you're going to get on the internet and shout and rant and rave about that which you don't want, all you're doing is attracting more of it.
Yeah.
Where are the stories of women getting online? Where are the TikToks? Where are the reels of women getting online celebrating that which...
They are there, actually.
Yes, but do those go viral?
Yeah, a recent one went viral. A girl was complaining about her job, so her man told her to quit.
Yeah.
Broke her leads and then helped her relocate to him. So there's that.
That brother is one of God's greatest men.
Yeah.
You see, I think maybe the point he's making that she missed again. People do this all the time. He's basically just saying that point is, well, I think it's a fair point to say that the most viral videos tend to be the most negative ones, but it still doesn't mean that good, positive videos are not out there. There are so many positive ones that also go viral. But generally, we all know this, that the most viral ones tend to be the most negative ones. But that is just one of those things.
And I celebrate him and I congratulate that brother for doing that thing. right?
Yeah.
For having the means to be able to do so.
Yeah.
And it's great that we can celebrate situations like that, but she just seems to be like, and the other thing that I didn't like was in one breath, she says, you Kenyan men are failing to do this and this and this and this and this, right? But then she was chastising the Kenyans for generalizing about Nigerians, right?
Great point.
You can't talk badly about the Nigerians. You can't generalize. You can't talk about them. Literally, two sentences previously, she was railing against the Kenyan men.
But she didn't generalize. She literally said there are Kenyan men that are good. She didn't generalize, but she was talking about that baseline. She wasn't using a technical language like I'm trying to use or a collective tendency. She wasn't talking about it that way, but she was making it obvious. She stated her issue with Kenyan men. She said she had a lot of good experience too, but from what she sees, she's not just using one single Nigerian man's example. She probably has had many stories, including from the lady sitting right there, that compared to the other African men, Nigerian men tend to have certain tendencies. That is a fact, good or bad. Like the scamming one is a negative one. The positive one is a I don't know what I would call that positive. The women tend to like Nigerian men. I don't know what to call that positive, but most men consider that positive, I guess. Let's get on with it.
So there are so many inconsistencies in what she's saying that I can't take her seriously. I understand that this is an opinion that a lot of women share. I mean, we've had debates on this very same podcast about relationships, about male-female dynamics.
Let me just read it. It says, why are you dividing Afrocentric brotherhood by elevating Nigerian men love sociability over the Southern African brothers? Okay, that is a fair point, actually. That is not what I'm doing. I'm just trying. As a matter of fact, the purpose of this, it was just to highlight the way we discuss group issues, as you may have glimpsed from what I was talking about earlier on. I feel like that is where a highly intelligent person, this is what made me put this video up, because that guy is very intelligent, you can tell. And in short, everybody there, we are clued on. But I was surprised when it came to talking about group stuff. They kept falling down, or maybe all of us fall for this somehow. They kept dropping the ball left and right. Because he just said, why generalize? And you're going to watch all of them generalize again later on. It's just weird how we do these things. That is the purpose. I'm not here trying to worry about dividing African people, because I also said the same thing in the Nigerian context, that even in Nigeria, you have a situation whereby if you ask the women, they will have what they choose. Even in the UK here, you ask the women, if they give you Northern men, Irish men, Scottish men, which one would you prefer? The women will have their options. If you put Europe, something tells me that the Italian and the French, they will win. It's the same everywhere. It's not dividing people. It's just the way people believe stuff. It's when the way they started talking about it is what I didn't like. And they are very, very clever people. They should know better about discussing issues like this, because they've done it before and they did it relatively well. But this time they claim to be telling the truth and they just went negative. So when you tell the truth is when you go negative. I don't get that, because you're actually devaluing your original position, which was acknowledging the group tendencies. Groups have tendencies. It doesn't malign any individual in that group. It doesn't mean that group is a negative thing. It's just a tendency. Just like people born in the Middle East have a tendency of being Muslims. It's just obvious. It's not prejudice. It's just the tendency. It's not individually based. It's just a tendency of the entire group. It's not prejudicial. It's a fact of life. And when we start mixing both as negative things, they are not negative. It's when somebody uses say, "Oh, they are all Muslims. They tend to be Muslims in the Middle East, so we should dismiss anyone that is not Muslim." That is not proper, is it? So you have to acknowledge that there are always exceptions to most of all these things. Sometimes the exceptions are greater than others. Sometimes it's 99% of them are similar. Sometimes it's 55% of them that are similar, while 45% is not. So what that lady is saying is that she did have good experience with Kenyan men. She's not saying that she didn't. She just felt like the way a Nigerian man interprets relationship with a woman is different from the way the Kenyan men interpret it. Hence, she prefers that one. And she has the option. You can make her not have that option because the Nigerian men are right there. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things.
We've had all of that conversation. I just think in her particular case, she's making a whole lot of noise. And I don't think she's making any intelligent cases for people to really think that she's dropped science on us or given us knowledge or anything like that. And there was a caption in there on the video where it says, these are the same men that you want us to marry. You want us to marry men like you, blah, 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 right?
Create dysfunctional homes
create
of trauma.
dysfunctional homes of trauma. Okay, fine. So when your parents choose your husband, there's one outcome. But how well are you doing choosing for yourselves? Do you know how many chronic?
You see, I see your real boy. I saw this, and that may be true, but on the continent and the people that do all those Yahoo things, you have to compare it with other Africans. If you are saying Nigerian men are the lowest prison count, but have you compared it with Kenyan men? Have you compared it with South African men? Have you compared it with Kenyan and Ugandan men? Maybe you find even less Ugandan men. But the fact that Nigerian men are there doesn't mean, you probably find Mexican men there. But the fact you find Nigerian men there, it means that Nigerian men still show up even in that American this continent. That is what they are trying to say. It's not because they are saying, to be fair, some people actually go on to imply that Nigerian men are just scammers. And it actually does affect the way they treat us. As you heard him say, that with the Maya that is even a Ghanaian was treated badly because they thought he was a Nigerian. Till today, Lucky Dube, that is from South Africa, some say he lost his life to those people that were trying to rob him because they thought he was Nigerian. So you can see that some people really have internalized this description of Nigerians and really started turned it toxic. You see what I mean? There might be a tendency, but it shouldn't move it to the point whereby you turn it toxic and you start attacking people because of that. Because you're going to attack a lot of innocent people. And that is not helping the continent come together, is it? It's not helping us in any way. It's just dividing the family, and at the same time, we are all poorer for it if we carry on in that kind of vein. And that is what I didn't like about the discussion that they were having.
Chronically single women there are out here who complain on a daily basis about how difficult it is to find a good man because their picker is broken. Your mama didn't choose that man for you. Your daddy didn't bring that man to you and introduce him to you and say, I'm advocating for you to date this guy because I think he's someone who meets my approval. You met that dude while you was twerking your ass in a nightclub, wearing a slinky dress, putting your ass on display, and now when this dude wants to treat you like a sex object and all you're good for is for his entertainment purposes only, when you want him to start taking you seriously after you let the nigga smash within the first 48 hours of meeting him, and now you realize that he cannot give you the respect and consideration that you feel like you warrant or deserve, is his problem. Nah, yo, we going in on 2024, man.
Yeah.
We're laying the truth bare. I'm on my Cat Williams today, yo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see what he's doing. He's saying he's being truthful, but in reality, Cat Williams is not the same thing as what he is doing. I don't know about Cat Williams. I've not verified some of the things he said, but he came across as quite genuine, and he was reporting his own experience. He is analyzing. There's a difference. This is not Cat Williams. You are analyzing, and your analysis is not necessarily accurate. Some part of it, there's some truth there, but it's not necessarily accurate, especially with this woman. The lady used nuances. She gave all this. She said not all Nigerian men are good, not all Kenyan men are bad. How can you miss all that? And you say she's generalizing. You know, maybe it's just podcast. They just want to have fun. I don't know. Maybe they're just having fun. All right. So let me see. What was this statement? It said the choice of yeah, I think this is a very good point actually. Nollywood is a big influence. You see, that's the power of media. This is the part they missed too. They didn't even address it at all. They completely missed it. Very good point, Tiger in the city Oloze, because Nollywood is very powerful. That's how Hollywood influenced us too. Afro beats, very powerful. I've seen Kenyan women, like I think it was African Tigress. She's a YouTuber. She was into Nigeria heavily because she's all she's seen of Nigeria is through Nollywood and Afro beats and all those things. She's heard of a lot. So that part is also playing a strong role. That is a very solid point. That's a very solid point. It may even be most of it. It may even be like 70% of what is happening. Nollywood is very powerful. I think that is a big one. And obviously when you encounter Nigerians, if Nollywood was false, it's going to show up, isn't it, when you encounter the Nigerians. And the truth is that Nigerian men tend to be more I don't know how to describe it. I guess they obsess about women quite a lot compared to most African men. Most African people, they tend to be more laid back when it comes to women. But Nigerians tend to be like very hot about it. It could be the presence of Muslims in the north that value their family structure very strongly, and the south also does. But sometimes the south also want to be like most Africans. They want to be very Western. But the Islamic aspect of Nigeria tries to hold the south back. You see what I mean? So I believe that Nigeria would have passed LGBT law maybe by now, if not for the northern Nigerians. So you always have the conservative part and you have the more liberal parts of countries. Let's go on with this video.
I mean, like I cannot condone the hypocrisy of people who behave like they want something fast and fun, but then complain when they're treated like an object for fast fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't condone anybody who gets out here and tries to act like they're better than the behavior that they perpetuate themselves. So I'm calling bullshit on her. I know that this is probably one of a million videos like this that'll appear in my feed over the course of the next couple of weeks. It is what it is, but her, nah, she's garbage.
She's definitely.
Did you just hear that? Did you hear what he said? That for me, that is the most offensive thing he said. He said she's garbage, and I felt he lost all sense of objectivity just by saying that, because she clearly wasn't. As a matter of fact, she's one of the most nuanced. I've seen so many women on the YouTube talking about Nigerian men. They are not nuanced at all. They are completely rubbishing their men. Completely. I've seen a Cameroonian woman completely rubbishing her men. Talking about Nigerian men, dating men. This one has a lot of nuances about it. She literally said she's had good experience with Kenyan men too. So how can you call her rubbish for saying that? And that's what I found. I found it almost egregious that if some of our best minds can think like this, that is problematic. I find that very egregious. That's why I'm making this video, because you can't talk like that. You just can't talk like that. They are very highly popular channel. You can't just talk like that. Call her garbage for saying that kind of stuff. You are supposed to be nuanced. Remember, she's talking about people too. She's talking about Nigerians, and Nigerians, they are in that country that you are in. And you're just talking about calling her garbage because she said, if she said that about African Americans, something tells me he's not going to do that. You shouldn't do that. You just don't call her garbage when she's actually one of the most objective these videos I've seen of this topic. The others are actually, I don't even address them because I feel like, come on, that's not, you can't just badmouth all your countrymen. It's not. As a matter of fact, the lady sitting next to them actually badmouthed Kenyan men without any nuances at all. In a video that they were part of the show, they didn't badmouth her for it. She badmouthed it. They played the video earlier on. Let me see if I can find the video again. They played the video earlier on, and she didn't even have any nuances about good Kenyan men at all. She just literally badmouthed Kenyan men. Let me play that video again.
complained about East African men before.
Everyone. No.
Play that clip.
What I'm trying to say is East African men here, they're very stingy because, you know, this topic came up because O'Shea was saying he empowers African men to.
Did you hear her qualify the statement at all? She just made it East African men stingy. They didn't badmouth her then.
Empower women, but these African men don't be empowering women. They empower themselves. Well, O'Shea is putting money in their pocket. That money stays in that pocket. It does not cross over to any woman. And the videographer, Brivian, who's in charge of today and who's going to edit this, said he left a girl on the expressway. Do you guys understand on the expressway? The expressway on the road. Something similar
Like
happened to me. A guy dropped me off at work and he made me cross the road. He could have dropped me inside. Okay? But because he just said, you know what? You can cross. Imagine putting my life in danger. The road is very busy, but he made me cross. Kohani had another incident. A guy made her pay for gas.
Do you hear any nuances there? This is what I have a problem with. This is what I had a problem with because the guy, many of them were there. They didn't say anything wrong. They were laughing with her. She was bad East African men. But because that lady was talking about the Nigerian men now, and she qualified it heavily. She qualified it heavily with what she was saying. She was very nuanced about it. And let me even play her again so that people understand what I'm talking about here. Because so you see the kind of unbalanced nature with the way somebody that is highly intelligent completely, I felt like he was a little bit biased. I don't know what kind of experience he's had.
Do you have to drag a certain nationality simply because respect to women and women are there? The reason as to why
this is the Read Part podcast. We'll just jump right in. Watch this clip with us and react to it with us.
First and foremost, the reason as to why we are choosing Nigerian men is because Nigerian men are so loving, they are so caring. Nigerian men know the value of a woman. Nigerian men respect women and women are their first priority. You have failed as Kenyan men. Today, let's call a spade a spade. You have even been ranked the most irresponsible men in Africa.
You see what she is doing there? She literally made a case for it. She even said, you have been ranked. In other words, people voted. Or whoever did the analysis did this thing. She's not just saying it flippantly. The other one was just bad-mouthing East African men, not just Kenyan men, because they didn't this thing. They dropped her opposite the street of where she's going, and all kinds of anecdotal this thing experience or this in knowledge that was shared. But let's go on.
I am not saying all Kenyan men are bad. I have had bad and good experiences with Kenyan men, and
Did you just hear that? She even she gave evidence of what she was saying about the ranking, and she went on to say she had good and bad experience with Kenyan men, and that this guy in the middle here called her garbage, and that is what I found a problem with the discussion, and that's what I wanted to highlight. And I'm going to even highlight more of what he did, because they went on to do exactly what they are accusing her of that she didn't do.
I know there are good and responsible Kenyan men out here. Do not get me wrong. Again, I would like to talk to Kenyans because 60% of Kenyans hate Nigerians. You really hate Nigerians. You label Nigerians as smugglers, fraudsters, scammers, da. You as a Kenyan man, are you good? No. You as Kenyans, are you any better? No. Why do you have to do?
Sure, I think the point has been made already. She's made it very clear. Let me I need to find where he too went and contradicted himself. I didn't like the way he just called her garbage. That was just rude. And given that she made a lot of effort to qualify her statement, she never made a blanket statement about it at all. And I think I would just, because I don't want the video to go too long, I think look at what he went on to say.
laugh,
all
but
the
I'm
Nigerian
telling
dudes
you
I know,
as a girl.
yeah, all the Nigerian dudes I know are happily married, with happy wives, wonderful, prosperous families. So I'm only ever going to give props to a Nigerian man because those guys know how to get done.
Oh yeah,
they're goal oriented, they're highly motivated, very disciplined when it comes to their work ethic, and they make shit happen. You know what I mean?
Did you all hear them? They just generalize about Nigerian men now. They just went on to generalize about Nigerian men. Oh, they make shit happen. They make the. Well, you were bad mouthing a lady. I don't know whether it's because of it is a lady. I don't get it. You were bad mouthing her that was even more qualified. You just use your own anecdotal experience. She actually used ranking, and she went on to qualify that they are good. She's even with the ranking, she still had good experience with Kenyan men. I like to submit that lady made a better case than they did. She made a better case than they did. It's just ridiculous. Some of the things some people do, I think what they are doing is they are reacting to her, not exactly her. They are reacting to the tendency of some women doing this, because I've seen a lot of videos that they just generalize, including the one sitting right there with them. The lady generalized about Nigerian men. Oh, the Nigerian men are better. East African men are rubbish. They do this. She didn't even qualify most of the statements she made. But that lady that they were criticizing in this video actually qualified it. I've never seen such a nuanced video actually. And people like that lady, they don't even get the right view, because people like him badmouth the lady when clearly she qualified her statement with every turn she was qualifying it. And then she went on to argue that why are you turning against Nigerian men? You know, because you are no better. We can't be judging each other like this and being negative about stuff, because we all have our own tendencies, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to be calling people out for what they have tendencies for, especially if it's negative and if it's positive. If it's positive, you call it out. If it's negative, you call it out, so that you can encourage the positive aspect and discourage the negative aspect. If people call Nigerian men scammers, then Nigerian men should be searching themselves how they get themselves into that situation. It's just a fact. We have to learn how to take responsibility for those type of situations. Sometimes, if you don't merit that name, you should fight to protect your name. And this is one of the things I say to my Nigerian people all the time, that if they keep calling us fraudsters and scammers and we don't make the money from it, then we should fight back. I gave the example about a pickpocket in a train versus a bank robber. They are not the same things. One is worse than the other. And if Nigerians don't make as much money as, I think from what I gather, the money lost from fraud annually is in the trillions of dollars. Do you think Nigerians have trillions of dollars? Nigerians don't. I don't think all their scams, they make anything close to even $2 billion a year. I don't think they even make close to that a year. So where are all the other $998 billion? Where is it going? Why are those people not on the news being called the scammers of the world? But that is the problem. And that is, for me, that is the way Nigerians should be able to push back on this and say, you can't keep calling us scammers, because you are targeting us, because we don't have the power to deny what you are insulting us with. Because clearly, you people are robbing yourselves dry out there. There are this in the Middle Eastern people, East Europeans, Asians that scam the West like crazy, vice versa. They are all scamming each other. The idea that Nigerians can be known worldwide as scammers is so ridiculous that we shouldn't even appear on the radar, because we don't make a lot of money from it. But it's like everything else. If you don't have power, people can malign your image, can make you look like you are completely unhinged, when you are actually better than they are. Like anything that happens in Africa now is flagged down. Like, oh my God, they are starving, they are dying, and all the rest of it. The other day I was watching a news about cholera, and they're acting as if everybody is dead from cholera. Like cholera is going to be moved into America and start killing people. And the amount of deaths they're talking about is maybe 5 or 6 or so. But in America, 43,000 people died last year from gun violence. 43,000. 43,000 died from human beings. There are football stadiums that don't have that capacity. Every year, that type of number dies in America from gun violence. But you don't, America has that reputation, but you don't see that really harming them in terms of their economy and everything else. They are still doing just fine. What does that tell you? If you have money, if you have power, anything goes, really. Almost anything goes. You can get away with anything. And what we are experiencing here is, sometimes we experience the negative part because we don't have power to push back. I think it will be very easy for us to push back on this scamming thing that Nigerians have, the reputation that we have. If we gain power, we can make solid argument and they will stop that nonsense very quickly. After all, that's how the Chinese were treated once. But the discussion, what disappointed me was how this statement that he just made. They went on to do what they said she did. They went on to generalize themselves. And weirdly enough, which is interesting, isn't it? Weirdly enough, all of them agreed with it. Nigerians are go-getters. And Nigerians are this, Nigerians are that. What is that? That's generalization. You're doing exactly what you're accusing her of doing. But it's all right. And this is a short video. I just thought I should talk about it because I was disappointed. I was more like disappointed because I do respect these people. They did, oh my God, they've done a lot of good work, I must say. And I have to acknowledge them for the good work they've done. They've done a lot of good analysis. They have good discussions, and then people should go to their channel. They are called Kenganda. They do a lot of good work, and I think they have more discipline here. That guy that you see there sitting on the left, O'Shea Ju Jackson, the guy, his own original channel is quite rude. Some of the things he says, I completely disagree with him in some of this analysis of the stuff he talks about. So maybe that's what is coming through here. It's bleeding through to this channel now. And they say they are telling the truth, but the truth is not, that is not the truth you're telling. If any, it's anything but the truth, because you just went on to contradict yourself in the same video. And the target you picked was the wrong target. It was the worst target, actually, that you picked. You should have even picked on the lady sitting there. She's not nuanced. She's not nuanced at all. You picked the wrong target that was just telling her own side of the story. And the lady, I saw her video on her channel. She's a small channel, and you're just picking on her for what? It's not merited. And then in connection, you picking on Nigerian men too, because you are trying to say that, she's just bitter. She's not very good, and nobody will want her. And hence why the Nigerian, she goes for it. Kind of, you will see most of the discussion, they went on to discuss things that they claim to be coming across as telling the truth, but it's not the truth. It's not the truth. Or they claim to be telling the truth, but they are saying it in a negative way. And one example is when he said that if you want to marry into any culture, that you have to be better than the people from that culture before they will accept you. I'm not so sure that is accurate. You have to be just as good. To be better is not necessary. You have to be just as good, because the problem with this issue is that you may not be just as good. Because what I mean by that is, like, it's like a black person now. A black person versus a white person goes and proposes to a lady. The parents will ask, who is your boyfriend or fiance? You show either a black or a white. The reason why they will choose the white is not because the black person is not capable. They are not looking at your individual capability. They are looking at the trends. They will look at, okay, the white person probably has a white family that is richer and all the rest, and the white person stands a better chance because they don't experience discrimination as much as black people experience. All those things, they'll factor that in. So when they look at you as an individual, they are not looking at you as only as an individual. They look at what baggage you come with, or I don't like to call it baggage, what your history is like, your trends are like. That is what the decision is based on. But the way he came across was like, if you're not good enough, my mother would tell you to take her back where she came from, and all the rest of it. It's not. If the lady can cook, can be respectful, can be doing all those things, that's what she's got to offer. But he made it sound as if she has to offer something exotic or something really, really great. It's not something really great. She's a good cook, she's respectful, she's good looking, and she's healthy, and she's come from a good family background, and you are black, she's black, most African and American parents will accept her. But he made it sound as if the woman needs to come with something better than African American women. I don't think that's accurate, really. It's not. It's not. It's a little bit of a distorted this analysis, and if that is what truth looks like, I think they are taking themselves backward. That's not truth, and that is not Cat Williams too. Cat Williams was not doing a lot of analysis. He was just telling his story. That's what you should do. Then maybe you allow the viewers to make their choice and their decisions on this type of issues. And so, yeah, that's what I just thought I should share. And we know that there is going to be, those that are from Dr. Damages, which I think make up the majority of the people here. You should subscribe to my channel. I need to get to 500 because I'm at 425. I need to get to 500 because 500 YouTube recognizes you as somebody that is worthy of getting what they call it, super chats and a few other things that they give you. 500. I'm a very humble person. I just did 500. And also I have to also explain this, that it's easy for me to do a kind of quarterback, as Americans call it, quarterback analysis. That's hindsight, in the way the British people like to put this. All these Americans, hindsight analysis, that I'm calling them out for this inconsistency. But in reality, Coffee, Brian, don't start now. Don't start with me now. So, in hindsight is you can see it. So maybe it's easy for me to say, just criticize now. But it was how I felt, because I really respected the way these people analyze stuff. They are one of the. Okay, there are other channels that are out there, but in terms of the relaxed nature of their conversation, and it's as a matter of fact, in terms of African American or diaspora versus African conversations, this is one of the best, actually. I'm not sure there are that many, that in terms of podcast format, it's one of the best, because you have African Americans there, you have Africans there, they say their beats and all that. So they are quite good and they are very, very intelligent. And Osieju Jackson is not a small timer. So he's known in America and he's also known on the continent. So that's why I felt a little bit, taken aback, that why have a go at this lady? The poor lady was just airing her own opinion in such a nuanced way. I really respected that lady, actually, the way she said it. Maybe she came across, maybe if you want to say she's a little bit on the Nigerian side too much, she came across maybe 10% extra or 20% extra. Not that much. That's what people do. When you are going out, you are in a relationship with somebody, you kind of become part of them. You become part of that person's kind of culture and way of thinking, and they shouldn't fault her for it. And she's doing the right thing, and we should be a bit more positive with the way we discuss each other. Differences are not a problem. The toxic differences is where the problem is, when you make it toxic. You can have, like the way the Europeans have it, you can have red head, blonde head, black, but they pick on the gingers because for some reason they don't like them. And that is where it becomes toxic, isn't it? You can have variations. You can have Igbo, you can have Hausa, you can have Fulani. Beautiful tapestry of humanity. But when it becomes toxic is when they start using it to oppress one group versus the other. You can have the Edo people, the Isha, the Nupe, there are so many cultures everywhere. And in the context of Nigeria, that I really don't like is when they start talking about the three main groups, like Hausa, Igbo, Edo, Igbo. It's really offensive, actually, and they need to really stop that kind of way of. I'm going to the Nigerian space now. It really needs to stop that kind of way of discussing things. They don't respect the minorities in that country, and it's not helping us in any way. They just go on talking about, it's only about Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. It's ridiculous. When the minorities in Nigeria make up a bigger group, if you put the minorities together, they make up a bigger group than all the entire groups of the, like if you put the minority together and compare it with the size of the Hausa, they are bigger. If you put the minority group and compare it to the size of the Igbos, they are bigger. If you put the minority group and compare it to the size of the Yorubas, they are bigger than them. So why are they so obsessed with this three constantly? It's not good. And this is the way when we are talking about big stuff, we talk about it very badly. And I think that's what, if you ask me, I don't know, can I say the Europeans have done better at doing those sort of things? I don't know about that actually. Maybe it's general, maybe it's just the way people talk. And maybe schools need to do better at teaching people about talking about the bigger picture, the bigger picture on how things work together when, because differences are not necessarily a bad thing. It's just when people make it a bad thing. Talking about people and qualifying it with like, okay, not everybody's like that, and making your own comment about it is valid point to make. Saying that people have certain tendencies is a valid point to make. It's mad. I don't know when it became crazy to spell out the facts of life. It's just the way nature is woven. We have individual capacity to do things, and we also have tendencies for nature and our environment to tilt us in a certain direction. Both are the dualities of life, and maybe that is the whole essence of life in terms of the fact that we think that we are conscious. Because we think we control it, because we think when we make a choice, we control it. But we forget that there are certain things that put us in that position to make that decision in the first place. If you're not in a burning building, are you going to look at jumping out of that building? You're not going to jump out because the environment was burning. So the environment plays a role. Your surrounding plays a role in your decision making, and it influences you. Hence, people have tendencies. It's not a bad thing to have that. It's just that when people turn it to something negative, and I don't think what that lady, that's basically what the lady was saying. There are very few cases I've seen where they said things like that in such a nuanced way. I have to appreciate the lady that she did very, very well the way she spoke about it. Let me see, like colorism in America, which is used to denigrate the darker skins in this hemisphere. Sad, actually. That is true, and I've had African Americans even do that. For me, I just like, and some of all these people that do that online, they are actually people that believe in Pan-Africanism. They believe in, holding up our own people, keep your head up kind of mentality. And then you go on to say, it just shows you that we are all susceptible. I'm sure I am too. It just shows you we are all susceptible to these things. He too goes on to use insults on black people that Europeans would do, like calling people ashy, saying you have a big nose and stuff like that. Even Cat Williams was using it recently. Was like, Jonathan Major's big nose is considered ugly in the black community. Who told you that? Because the white man believes that. That's what you believed. So I didn't find that quite something that Jonathan Majors is ugly. That if he's considered good looking, then all black men are good looking. That is silly. But then again, it's Cat Williams saying his own bit. Because we are all susceptible. We have all been brainwashed. And I must say, although what he said about the media is actually true. Nollywood is playing a role in the perception of Nigerian men in Africa. But then again, it's not only perception. They are real too, to the people that have experienced it. And Nigerian men have a tendency. They do have their tendencies. Even within Nigeria, we know the specific type of men that have some tendencies. So I will leave it at that. I don't want to go long with this. I think it's just an hour. I'll keep the video short, and I will try to be reacting to things like this, keeping them short. Let me so that we don't have to be doing long sessions, and I keep getting more views. I want to get more views so that I can get to 500, so that I can start taking super chats and stuff like that. I can start becoming a YouTuber. I'm not technically, I'm barely even a YouTuber really. But it's good to get more support, because if I have more supporters, then when I'm discussing stuff, I can be able to share with more people. At the same time, maybe it will make me do more better research and have more insightful analysis of whatever was being spoken about, because I just feel like maybe I do have something to say, and I should be able to share it, and if anybody is going to gain from it, it's all good, so that we can just all enrich each other, because the more quality information we have, and I've gotten a lot from these guys, make no mistake, I might be criticizing them now. It's funny, the people I criticize most are the ones I respect most, which is weird. I've gotten a lot from them too, so we always have to remember that criticism is not a negative thing. It's something that should help us be better. And for me, if criticism is valid, I will accept it wholeheartedly. And sometimes when people criticize me, they are making a valid criticism in their mind. Remember, just because you are making a criticism doesn't mean you are conveying the message in a way that the receiver is going to be able to interpret it properly. So we all have to improve the way we communicate with each other, so that the person we are talking to can understand what we are saying. Not just understand, also help them change their own opinion. I don't want to share links, but it's 1 hour. I just want to do 1 hour and this thing, because Dr. Damage is going to be coming in later on, and so I just wanted to do 1 hour. You see, if I'm going to be sharing link, it's just going to be a couple of people, and we do it for strictly. Let's hardwire. Let me see the time now. It's 1 o'clock already. I don't even know whether this is possible. We just do it 30 minutes, and I will just hear what people have got to say about the video. Maybe they have different opinion, and then we just close out and call it a day. 1 hour 30 minutes. Is that good enough? Should be fine, isn't it, for everybody to make 5 minutes this thing? Let me just share the link briefly, because that way it's not only me, it's not only my own opinion of this thing, so that other people can have their own say on this. That's why I thought I should share it. Let's see.
I mean, and I think maybe those are some of the qualities that women feel like they're gravitating toward. But now you want to espouse all of the other superficial stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you said, instead of giving you peanuts, he gives you the whole bag. That's fine. What if the guy didn't have the whole bag to give you? He still has those same principles of being focused, dedicated, hardworking, and disciplined. So isn't that the characteristic of the man that you want, rather than all of this other stuff? The guy buys me flowers. He love bombs me. Because once all that shit goes away, once all of your good looks go away, you still want the guy to love you, right? Once after you've pushed out a couple of kids, and then that 6-pack turns into a keg, and you're no longer the young fly fancy shorty that you once were, and you out here just dressing in house dresses when you go into to every event that you go to, right? You still want that man to love you, right? So stop placing this artificial expectation on your man to be anything other than a good guy. Stop making this dude extend himself to go above and beyond, to exhaust his financial capacity to be able to impress you. Stop.
Don Anthony, what do you think? Do you think I don't have a channel? I do have a channel. I do host on Dr. Damages, but I do have a channel that is called To Niger, and I go to other channels because I'm an open person. I like to have discussion openly. It's not about me normally, but it's also good to sell or advertise your services in a way. That's what I'm kind of doing to our people and every person that wants to contribute. So it's not why would you call it personal? Do you call Dr. Damages personal? I don't know why you're calling it personal. The channel is the channel. It's not me. If I am gone, the channel stands on its own. If somebody will take it over, they will take it over. If somebody, okay, let me see. Link to subscribe to your channel. Okay. Oh my God, I missed that. Sorry, Reaboa. Let me get the link to subscribe. It's quite there. Let's get that up. Kenganda. Yeah, it's just because it's good to promote one's channel. If you want your channel to grow, you can't just sit there and expect people to know the channel when I didn't do much to promote it at all. That doesn't seem right, does it? It's good to promote it so that it grows, because everybody promotes their channels. Everybody does. I don't do much of promotion. That's the channel there. Like and share, subscribe, so that I can start building up the channel too. And the same thing for Dr. Damages. Let me get Dr. Damages channel too. Whoever hasn't, I'm sure all of you have subscribed to Dr. Damages channel. Whoever hasn't should. And because I'm there most of the time too. So there's a lot of discussion going on Dr. Damages too. So it's a whole family, it's a whole ecosystem, and every little matters. You just never know in this thing. It's not about individuals, and that's the thing about Dr. Damages. He doesn't make it about himself. He is very open, and just wants to do the right thing. Just want to do the right thing, and like I too want. Hence why I go on his channel. All right, so that's Dr. Damage's channel there too. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And so yeah, Ovie, long time. Are you there?
Now, I got it, talk.
Yes, now. Who else is talking?
Something is wrong, man. Your voice, maybe
it
not.
Changed.
Nah, man. I thought the person I'm seeing on the screen, that this is what I'm hearing. For it's just now, but before I come in, of course, your voice was, I could tell it's you. But as soon as I come in now, I literally thought this guy that you put on the screen that's actually speaking.
No.
Anyway,
it was me.
I think it's from my own side. Anyway. Yes, I know. I don't want to take your time. I literally just pull up. I've been driving for the past 6 hours. So I literally just pull up to just make a point of correction. Right? You were saying something about William. I think you misquote him. Now I don't know if you watched your entire.
I managed to speed watch it. Yeah, speed watch through it all. I'm sure I missed a lot.
Now, that particular when he's talking about Jonathan Major, what William is saying is that he is saying that since when the people who said you are ugly because of your fat nose and how you look physically, that black people are ugly just because they look, since when do they now begin to see beauty in that same person? Just the way they promoted Jonathan Major from nobody to the top of the world, right? Because the answer is, his handsome is this, is this. He is questioning that. Since when that you people should be paying attention? When they were propelling somebody to the top, there's always a reason. So that's why I asked you if you watch the entire video. That's not his belief. He literally put himself in this. He's questioning the whole idea that the same people, just like now, people who are criticizing you of your stance on the military, right? Now, let's assuming all of a sudden overnight, an agency, let's say an agency who don't believe in military, started sponsoring you and take your platform to 1 million views. 1 billion views, you're becoming top of the world, right? The same people, right? So now come and say, like, I don't know if you get where I'm going with it.
Well, I get what you're saying. It's just that Cat William went on to say that if Jonathan Major is considered good looking, then all black men are good looking. So he didn't have to add that because he didn't believe that Jonathan Major is good looking.
Hold on now. You are taking it literally the way it sounds. So that's what I'm saying. You should, you watch the whole interview, you should understand where he is coming from, right? He's criticizing he's not criticizing Jonathan Major, he's criticizing what makes Jonathan Major.
No, I'm not saying he's criticizing Jonathan Major. I'm saying that he believes within his own psyche that Jonathan Major is not good looking.
That's not his belief.
No, I'm not saying he's criticizing Jonathan Major one, and I understand what you are saying. That is most of his discussion was about what the this in the media and the system within the American space, how they influence people by just piloting people. I think he called it piloting or something like that.
Specifically about Jonathan
Planting.
Major.
He called it planting.
It's not about him, but directly per se. You should. But do you know the story? You know what happened to Jonathan Major in the first place. You know his beginning and the end. If it has come to an end already, do you know it? Do you know the story?
Yeah, I know the story about the lady that Jabri that accused him of.
No. That's like the middle. You need to know his beginning, the middle, and the end. Then you not know the stereotype about what categorize the black person as in terms of how they categorize as a in terms of beauty or ugly. Then you now see the nuance between what he is trying to say. So if you don't understand
what I got from that, I'm sure a lot of people will get it from that. What I got from it was him saying, yes, these Hollywood people and these media people, they used him because whatever they say goes, isn't it? They say he's good looking, everybody accepts it. They say he's bad looking, everybody accepts it. So that's what he's trying to convey.
Tunanja, go back and listen to that. Don't rush him. That is just 3 hours work. Just take your time.
But what you are saying is true that he said those things. I'm not disputing, but
don't quote him directly. That's what I'm trying to say. You are quoting him directly. No, don't quote him directly.
No, I'm not quoting him directly. I'm saying that his perception.
He's telling a story, but he's telling in a sarcastic manner, in a reverse manner too. So that's why you have to take your time.
I get what you are saying, Ovie. I get what you are saying.
And
but
besides, you are quoting him. You literally quoted that this is what he believes. He believes that black people have big nose and ugly. No, that's not what he believes.
No. I think even the guy that was sitting there acknowledged what he was saying. See, the reason why I'm saying it is not only that point he made. There are other points he has made, even in that comment in that video, that involves him saying something negative about black people. He's doing what Brian said about colorism.
What are you talking about the same interview that the whole world was?
Yes, I saw the interview. See, what I pick up on is not the kind of stuff everybody picks up on.
If you don't want to take the ignorance, that's fine. That's okay.
See, I agree with the part you are making, but you are not agreeing with mine. That's the problem. You just want me to agree with you.
You are quoting the man. Just look at what you are saying. You say the man believe. Like you are talking about William. Maybe not this interview make you know the man. That's another thing. You just know him. You just meet him because of this interview.
I know Cat Williams. I know he likes to wear his hair straight. I know he likes. So hold on. I know he likes to wear his hair straight. I know he likes to do things with all kinds of people.
That's not knowing person. You have to know person ideology, philosophy, where he stands, where he's coming from. That's what I mean. Who cares about how he looks or what he put on his head?
He told us his philosophy. He told us all his philosophy. He told us what he believes in.
When did he tell you that? So that's what I'm saying. Tunanja.
He said that in the program itself. 2 hours.
Okay, you are right. Tunanja, this is 2024.
You see, what is wrong with you? You know, both of us can be right.
Damn, you are right. I'm not arguing.
Both of us can be right, Ovie. Stop arguing.
Tunanja, you are right.
You are right. You are right. I am right. Everybody's right. Stop arguing with me. You see the kind of fight I'm fighting with in Nigeria here. Call me Brian. I'm saying he's right. He said I'm wrong. You are right too. So call me Brian. I'm sure you saw that Cat Williams video, and because that's what Ovie came to raise. I wasn't very. What he was talking about, I think we've already heard about it last year. Some of the revelations about all those things that are happening within Hollywood and within the black community, maybe even other communities. But that wasn't my point, really. I didn't want to go into Cat Williams. If I wanted to make his video, I would have made it. The point I picked from that was sometimes, when you mentioned about colorism, he spoke about Jonathan Majors and went on. He didn't have to volunteer that information. Jonathan Majors, if he's considered ugly, then good looking, then all black people are good looking. It's like, what is wrong with Jonathan Majors? It's just because you bought into the idea that people that look like Jonathan Majors shouldn't look good because they have big noses. So that's what I was trying to highlight, because I've heard many African Americans use some statements to describe their own people.
That's not colorism. That's featureism. It's features.
Yeah, that's featureism. I've had quite a few. I think maybe even some Africans do it too, where they use features. Africans do it actually, and then make mistake on that. They do that where we use features of foreigners as positive within our communities to describe our people. And that is what I had an issue with the way he used it. But then again, it's not a big issue. I just thought I should just highlight that as something. Or what do you think about the Kenganda aspect? And if you want to add something,
I could. Sometimes I'd be wondering. It seems like every woman from every culture have a complaint against their men. It's just kind of like unanimous everywhere. I mean, like every community that I encountered, even some of my friends when they date, let's say other races, and then those women always have some type of complaint about their men. And it's just kind of like you to the point where, what do women want? What do you want?
I think it's because they are beginning to have access to other groups now. Isn't that part of the what they are contending with now? They have to compare. They are forced to compare both sides. But that said, though, the rate at which women, especially on the continent, comes out to talk about Nigerian men, you see, this is what I call I talk about baseline behavior. You don't tend to see videos of African women coming out to talk about oh, how great the Ugandan men are, or how great the Somali men are. It's often about Nigerian men. That's a baseline. You see what I mean?
Isn't it the fact that, as far as Nigeria have a large population, and then you guys like to travel everywhere?
That is true too. You see, but you see, all these things are adding to that baseline. That's what I mean. I've seen videos of Nigerian women complaining about Nigerian men. A lot of them they have, but you don't see those Nigerian women at the same time coming out to praise Kenyan men. You see what I mean? There is a baseline behavior. There's a baseline tendency that goes on, and this is where we tend to get things muddled up a little bit, because that should be telling you that there are certain traits that women prefer, and we should be learning from that. Or everybody should be learning. And there are certain traits they don't like, which is scamming. Nobody likes scammers. And Nigerian men should be watching their
it really depends on a woman too. I mean, it depends on how the way I judge a woman is by her mentality, and it's many different factors. You have women who have common sense, and they usually don't go on the internet and start complaining about this group of men. They don't make generalized statement, because here's the thing: who raised you? How a woman is raised is indicative of what they're going to dish out. Because I remember, like looking at, sometimes I peep into these women, forums. What is it, Lipstick Alley or something like that? And certain women were complaining about black men, and another, and there's you have a pushback from other women. You're like, who the hell raised you? Because some of them said they had very, very positive experiences with black men or black fathers, black brothers. So, I'm not dissing women who are pretty much probably grew up in, single mother's household, because you have a cascade effect of that mentality when you don't have a positive male role model in the household. If you notice a big difference with a woman who had a positive male models or positive male models in a family versus a woman who did not. Big difference in mentalities.
Yeah, that is quite true. And however, even if, okay, let's say you are, for example, like you grew up in the Middle East, Muslim home, you raised your daughter, and suddenly you are dashed into the American environment or the UK environment, which some of them go to and study, and they start encountering, different cultures and different type of men. And then if they compare that with their men, they feel like, oh my God, they shut me up. I've seen cases where women, even with their ex their husband or something, and then they meet this other guy, they'll be like, I've never been this free when I was with so and so. And sometimes it might even be within the same culture. So it tells you that based on their experience, it's just a manifestation of what is happening within their community. They now have access to more people. They have access to seeing how other people behave. So they can now say, oh, our men, I don't have to do this, do I? I don't have to succumb to this type of behavior when I have this option. I think maybe that's what is playing out. And our interpretation of it, I feel like we should see it for what it is. They are highlighting the positive, because the women often, when they say this sort of thing, they say the positive things. Clearly, there are negative things. Most of the women don't talk too much about negative things, but some of them do. I've seen some South African women that talk about the negative things that Nigerian men do to them. So they don't talk about the negative. The positive ones, I think, should be enriching us. Don't you think?
I think women too need to take accountability. I mean, they're adults.
Of course.
They have intelligence. I mean, God gave us with humans, a marvelous capacity to reason and think about things. And, I'm not saying women should make better choices, because sometimes you don't know what type of person you're going to be with to later on. And then, you have also the human factor where, you get blinded by love and you pretty much, whatever negatives you see of that person, even though people outside might see those negatives, you pretty much ignore everybody. Like a perfect example is, I think I brought this up, where one of my friends, cousin, went to Dominican Republic, okay, and she fell in love with one of those beach boys in the Dominican Republic, and later on married him. I mean, it seemed like the whole family in the Dominican Republic was onto it. Brought him in the United States, and my friend was telling her, he is there to just get a green card. Do not marry him. Do not marry him. He's there to get a green card. Everybody in the family said, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. She's in love, and he's in love. Let the girl be. He's like saying no. He said, objectively, something's not right about this. And, and then lo and behold, as he went through the process, as he came back to the United States, as he went through the process of living with her, and then later on, be known to her, finally get his, green card and all those little different papers, he pretty much bounced, which broke her heart.
Yeah. Did they start a family, or just individuals and he bounced?
Say what?
That did they have children?
No, they didn't have any children. I think he made sure about that because he got a Puerto Rican girl pregnant.
Wow, that's hardcore bad. Yeah, you see, that kind of bad signs is bad. But that's a very interesting point you made, because I think during this conversation, somebody made that comment too. And I felt like, let me remove this video in the meantime. I felt like there was a bit of somebody, they missed the point to an extent, because almost every relationship, there are bad signals that you get. And some of the bad signals don't necessarily always have to translate into breakups. You see what I mean? So you can forgive this. You can forgive people for sometimes ignoring bad signals. Some of them are, glaringly obvious. If somebody is 85, getting married to a 22-year-old, what they call them, those trophy wives or something like, that's just obvious. But others are nuanced. This person doesn't relate to you very well. He doesn't treat you with respect, that kind of stuff. So it doesn't necessarily always translate to breakup of relationship, because if you ask me, almost every relationship that people have, there's always something somebody's not happy with. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why you have to work around it. That's why, sometimes, I'm not saying it's women or men, or, people be going out for divorce. With divorces, it brings in a lot of consequences.
Yeah.
That people don't realize. I mean, especially here in the United States, it could wreck your marriage, not your marriage, wreck your finances, wreck your mental health. It can be extremely draining.
And it seems to be more negative for the men generally. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think generally. I mean, some divorces I say, okay, it's legitimate.
Yes.
Legitimate due to the fact that he cheated on her or if he's abusive. Those are I would say that's a small percentage of the case.
Abusive is one for me. Cheated. If you have a family, okay, what would you say? Abusive and cheated. Which one is worse? Which one would you consider worse in terms of breaking up a family where you have children involved?
You said cheated or what?
Cheated or abuse, physical abuse. Which one is worse?
God, both are bad, but I think physical abuse is worse because that could have a traumatic, especially when it's like out in the open and kids could hear it and stuff like that. That can have a detrimental effect on the children.
I agree with that, and it's also dangerous too.
Right. Whereas cheating and all that, that's kind of like husband and wife type of thing, and children aren't usually not involved or knowing it unless they caught the parents in act or something like that. But abuse. I mean, like one person I used to be so in love with this woman, celebrity. I don't know if you know who is Marcelle Pickford.
No.
She is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous African-American woman. But, when I looked at her bio, because, she's getting divorced again, I mean, she is, she's like all over the damn place, from dude to dude to dude to dude. And she's getting divorced again. And I'm just wondering if she's getting divorced in, as far as the reasons why she's getting divorced, is it because of what? I mean, you're gonna ruin. You got 3 kids, and that's her right there. I mean, I used to be in love with this lady back in the day.
You knew her one-on-one, or you have like
no. I don't know. Just like a fledgling, person.
Oh yeah, she is. Yeah. Oh my God, I can see why. I can see why.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to.
Yeah, she is. She looks a bit mixed though. She's
not. I'll show you her parents. She's not mixed.
Okay.
She has 2 African-American parents. I'll show you real quick. Yeah, I knew you was gonna have to say that question. I mean, yeah.
No, I'm not saying it for that reason. But to be fair,
it's cool.
This
cool
one, you are not gonna be able to sleep now. If you go with this one, everywhere she goes, men will be on her case.
This is her parents. This is her parents. Let me show you her parents. Okay, that's her parents. That's the father. That's the mom at the end.
Wow, proper.
She got her looks, obviously, I guess, from her dad in some respects, but because she looks mostly like her dad.
Yeah.
So
she is. She's what she's what being one of those, as you said now. So, but you probably have this in options now. You see, this is one of the things I like about the conversation. If you have the resources, the world is your oyster. Really, you can do whatever you want.
But I had a thing for her. But being objective, I could see that. From her past relationships, because she was dating a guy who was of Ghanaian heritage at one time. He's an actor. I think his name is Gross or something like that. And then she went with this guy, and then she went with that guy, and then she married this guy, got pregnant by this guy, and then she married this other dude. And I thought, well, it's gonna be a great marriage. He was like some type of lawyer or something like that. Let me say her ex-husband. Now he's the ex-husband.
Oh my!
It's gone already. She's a mother with. His name is Michael Sterling.
Wow.
She's a mother with. And that's her ex-husband, and the dude right next to her, the dark-skinned dude, that was her other husband before, or one of her baby daddy from the first relationship.
Oh, what a shame. I think, oh my, I don't know why though. I think maybe it's on hand then. Maybe there's something.
Yeah, I think so. It's something about her. I don't know. Oh, that's the guy from Ghana. I mean, he's got Ghanaian ancestry. His parents are from Ghana. He was, I think he was one of those actors in one of those Tyler Perry movies or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think if you ask me, by default, because of my biases, obviously, African American women they're not gonna, I don't know, they will get tired of Ghanaian men quickly.
No, it really depends on how the way she's raised. You know, like a lot of it has a lot to do with housework. If she had a good father in the household, I would say keep her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If she has that, you know, because she knows that balance and knows what a relationship is supposed to be versus, I'm not saying all women, a woman who grew up in a single mother household.
Are we bothered to check the data on how often women that are good looking as much as her get divorced? It will be quite interesting to check whether they are more prone to divorce than women that are less.
I would say good looking women. I guess with her is, you know, it was the media. She was in, I mean, she didn't really do too much acting roles, but you know, she got it from I think Housewives or something like that, one of those reality shows or something like that. And then she started later on acting, and plus she was a model. You know, that type of thing.
Let's welcome Tiger in the city. I think he made one of the most interesting. I think, was it you that made that comment about Nollywood?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, sorry about the delay in coming to you. Yeah, because I think that may account for most of this perception that women have of Nigerian men. It's funny because it almost coincides with it during the period Hollywood came on stream. I guess that also coincides with the internet. Because that phenomenon cannot be denied, because I see Nigerian men badmouthing Nigerian women badmouthing Nigerian men, but I don't see Nigerian men praising other African women. But other African women are all too happy to come and praise Nigerian men. So that is where the tilt is for some reason. And please go ahead.
Yeah, I will stop you with that. Nigerian men are silently praising Ghanaian women.
Silently, eh?
Yeah,
what
silently.
Are they afraid of? Eh?
Yeah. Silently.
What are they afraid of? Eh? Are they afraid of our women?
They are not coming to social media saying it, but they like Ghanaian women. That's basically.
I like Ghanaian women too, though.
In terms of they are pretty, and you know.
Yeah, they are really pretty hot.
Yeah, and confident as well.
Confident? I don't know.
No, Ghanaian women are confident. They are not lousy. You know.
I don't know. I don't know about that. See, all I know is, I don't have any like relationship kind of experience with Ghanaian women, and I don't know anybody that has had. All the ones I know of so far, Nigerian women still come across as being they are a lot more strident, and it's like when you compare cables, Nigerian men are wired cable, like naked, while the Ghanaian women are very low key. I was in Ghana for about 6 months, and they tend to be more gentle with their approach.
But don't forget that just like USA, American men all over the globe, right? They are choice men. Because why? Because of the music. That's number one. Their influence started in the 60s or late 50s. So their influence has been there over many decades. And also with Hollywood, and also there are showbiz people. So when you get a nation that is showbiz people, they are likely to insert influence all over the places. You talk about Nollywood, and when you are presenting actors and actresses, they must know how to act. Two, they go for good looks as well. So all the time you are saying good looking men, and for the fact that most of these African ladies, they've not come to Nigeria to have that perception of Okay, let me look at the men. Actually, if they are pretty, but they are seeing the actors in those things, and they are seeing Nigerian musicians as well. That is, I mean, they are good looking. So
Nigerian men, to be fair, if you look at it from the Yoruba, you know, they call some of them Yoruba demons. Even though Nigerians gave the Yoruba people Yoruba demons for a reason. And then you have the Igbo men. The southern men tend to be, they have this cultural thing that even in Nigeria we don't like it. Like me anyway, I have an issue with it where we have this obsession with women. So it's almost as if all the money we are making is just for women, really. And the men, they want to just buy. When they meet a woman, like, oh, what do you want? I'll get you a house. Give you this. I'll give you this. But as long as you do this for me, that is the approach that Nigerian men take with women, even in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They tend to buy women, a woman's love.
They give them, they give them
anything they want. Yeah, and that's what those ladies like. And Nigerian men are also romantically, orally. They can tell them what the ladies want to hear.
Yes, they do. They can talk sweet. They can talk. They can sweet talk any woman.
Yeah, I know someone who lives in Kenya. He's married to a Kenyan woman. He tells me in Kenya, how the men, they leave the women to do everything, you know. But things have changed now. Even though in Nigeria you help your woman to do something at home.
That's true, actually. I'm sorry. This Gen Z thing now is making Nigerian men more. They are beginning to try to seem like Western men, and to an extent, they expect women to be able to earn money now, and so, but still that grounding instinct to take care of the woman is part of the Nigerian man's makeup, isn't it? Because the women expect it in Nigeria too. They are just Nigerian women expect the men to take care of them. Even when they earn more money than the man, they still expect the man to take care of them. So
yeah, if you come to Nigeria, you're competing with other men. For example, Brian talk about that lady, right? The less known actress, right?
Yeah.
That he showed that he likes. Come to Nigeria, many men will be going after her, even a rich man, trying to promise her houses in Banana Island just to be with her. They will do that.
Yes,
so,
they will.
Yeah. So Nigerian men know how to spend money.
Don't tell our sisters who look like that over here that thing, because they'll probably be over there in droves trying to snatch up some Nigerian dude.
Oh yeah, if many African American women that are anything close to that good looking, if they go to Nigeria, they'll get some of the best men easy, because the men are obsessed.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't tell them? Maybe I shouldn't actually. But point is that this is what Nigerian men are.
I mean, because they will go on social media and be like saying light skinned girls, you know, because a lot of women, regardless of skin color, they be going with the hood rats, dusties, everything. I've been seeing some really, really good looking girls. I mean, like hot in LA, like hot. You're like, God damn, you know. But she's with some dude who is no good for her, pants sagging, and maybe she liked that lifestyle.
And besides, there are other aspects that like people in Western culture will find difficult to adapt to, because the Nigerian men, they are not very responsible in terms of the way Western women expect men to behave. They'll just sleep with you, maybe get you a property, be nice to you and all the rest. But when they're out of that door, they're out of that door. They are going to be doing their own thing. They could be with another woman. That's another problem. So, but the Nigerian women, what they've discovered was that as long as they are the main woman, or maybe they get what they want from the relationship, they are fine. You see what I mean? So they made their own kind of peace with the fact that sometimes they can't own the man completely, but if they can own him for a time, that is good enough for them. But in the West, that's not how they roll. They want the man all the time, and often it leads to situations where you don't have any men. I think in this show they even said it that there are women with chronic long-term lonely without partners. They've been long time without partners in the West. It's many. And it's because they expect certain things. And most of the time I've spoken to women about these things, they'll say, oh, they are no men. But in reality, they are men. It's just that they want specifics. They are far more specific now than they were before. Before, I've watched a documentary where they were asking Nigerian women, not Nigerian women, about what they look out for in a man. And you can't believe every single one of them said he can hunt, he's got good teeth, and that's just about it. He can hunt, or maybe he's healthy. That's it. They don't have any other stipulation. They don't care whether he's nice to them and all. No, that's luxury, because it depends on what your priorities are. They want someone that can provide for them first. As long as you can provide, the rest are details. And this is what Nigerian women have discovered. They too have discovered that why should I worry about all the niceties when I'm hungry? What should I worry about all the niceties when jobs are hard to come by? Life is so hard. Even when you try to work your best, it's still very hard. Why not just settle for this guy that can provide me everything, but I suffer less? Because in the end, this is the basis of polygamy, really. But these days, because culture frowns on it, now you have situations where people are having side chicks, and they call them side chicks, and in the American context, mistresses, and they cheat, all kinds of stuff. They call it
women
cheating.
cheat too, bro.
Of course, women do now.
Unfortunately, they do. They do.
Yeah, they do. They do. In Nigeria, they found out that that not most children, quite a significant amount of children are not, fathered by the man that the woman is with. So yeah, women do get around. They are hustlers, and it's just what it is. It's just what it is. You can't expect that to just sit around with losers all over the place. So, but this is not about women. To be fair, I'm not. This discussion is about the Nigerian men. Why some women, see Nigerian men as being better than most African men.
I think it's a lot to do with Nigerian population, and like you said before, the popularization of Afro beats and Nollywood, which I can't stand Nollywood. They need to get.
I'm not surprised now. You guys
they really need to up their game a little bit. I mean, I've seen a few Nollywood
That's
movies.
true, though. That's true. I think it's a valid criticism.
It's starting to become redundant now. It's over a decade. You need some improvements. Even like, for example, I don't even like Tyler Perry movies. I never even watched a Tyler Perry movie.
Yes, I don't like that too.
I can't stand those Tyler Perry movies. I'm more into.
Well, it seems to sell a lot, though. What is happening? Why do they like it?
I don't know. I hate to say it, because he had one. I seen one with this lady I like, Eva Mason. She has a TV show, and it's called All the Queen's Men. And for some weird reason, I'm not calling. People have been insinuating things about Tyler Perry. She's in the front cover, and all the men are looking like male strippers and naked.
Oh man, that is so.
I
don't like that.
You know what I'm saying? I know that's a consistent thing with Tyler Perry. It has to be a good-looking guy, usually a brown-skinned dude, sometimes dark-skinned, but they all have to take a shirt off.
Yeah,
I think the reason why Nollywood is different, completely different from the American movie set, Hollywood, and it's different from the one in India as well. So people are looking for a different thing. They want to see that authentic African thing. So that's all about. I don't really like Nollywood because I think some of the acting is flawed sometimes, right? They overshout and overscream for nothing. But a lot of acquaintances I know in the West here, even though the white people, they talk, even Thierry Henry, the footballer, I was saying the other day, Igwe, they got that from the movie. So all of them do watch this thing. So they are looking for alternative from Hollywood.
The West, yeah.
I think that's
I think you have a point there, and I think Brian also do have a point that Hollywood needs to up their game. I think that is something that they seriously need to look into, really, because it's becoming stale, and the standard needs to increase. Because you need a little bit more intelligence, a little bit more extra in terms of even effects. If you want to do effects, do it well.
I mean, like Spike Lee, like when Spike Lee does his film, I have to admit he is like some of the stuff. He remind me of Woody. I don't know. Are you familiar with Woody Allen?
Yeah, I know him.
He remind me of Woody Allen, but in a blacker sphere. In regards to doing his movies, I mean, I do like like one movie I have to admit I was telling Case I was embarrassed about, but I looked at the genius and the choreography of it. I don't know if have you ever seen the movie School Days?
No, I don't. Maybe I've seen it, but cannot remember it by the name. No, I don't think I have.
It's. I mean, as far as the dance scenes in it and how the way they combine reality versus, people don't be dancing and singing, in real life.
Yeah.
And it dealt with Black campus life, and between the deltas and this, and the colorism aspect of it, which was very, very real. Oh yeah, very, very real and very, very poignant. It just shoot our dirty laundry within. Colorism is not just only African American thing. That's throughout the whole damn diaspora. In the Western
to an extent in Nigeria too, you do have that in Nigeria to an extent where you see the men whenever they talk about light skinned people, they say beautiful.
Right. But it's kind of like
stop it.
In the Western Hemisphere, in the Dominican Republic, we know it's fucking there. You know what I mean? And you can see that demarcation between them.
It's really so sad though. It's really so sad because I feel like the dark skinned people are being bullied to an extent. It's a kind of bullying. I feel that way whenever I hear people describe, because whenever they are talking about light skinned people, even in Nigeria, you say, they will say, "Oh, that lady, she's light, she's." Well, I don't forget the term they use in Nigeria. She's light skinned and beautiful. They always associate. Whenever they want to talk about beautiful, not all the time. But if they want to, they will attach the light skin part of it is the reason why they are beautiful. And I really don't appreciate that. And I do call it out when I hear it these days.
But going back on the film in regards, let me just finish. Going back to the film with Spike Lee and all that.
I'll call you next. Then we'll just round up. Yeah, please go.
Yeah, he has so many different.
I wanted to answer. Just call me Bryant. I wanted to reply him because see the reason why the movie is poor is also is finance issue.
Budget.
For instance, I think the highest budgeted movie Nollywood has ever made was I think the Black Book or something like that. Yeah, Black Book. It cost just $1 million.
Gotcha.
So you see, that is the highest they have ever spent in production. So that's the reason why the movies are poor. The finance is not there.
I'm surprised, like people like Spike Lee and Tyler Perry and all that are not saying, you know what, let's move some of these dollars we've got, moving into the Nigerian space.
That would be
and
excellent.
Build
that
one
would be excellent collaboration. And not just, I guess they try to do it at the Essence Festival. They have every year, I guess in New Orleans, they actually have a Nigerian section too. Right?
The one on Netflix is the most, if you have to understand, Nollywood have different parts. The one on Netflix, that the one the Chinese they don't consume, those are far more advanced than the Nollywood you just watch on YouTube. The Nollywood on YouTube, sometimes Nigeria first is right, it's the budget, but the one on Netflix, that's very, very expensive. So they don't just use ordinary actors in this movie sometimes. Go to the Nigeria aspect with all these women who are saying Nigerian men, whatever they want to talk about. I think to the Nigerian men, I think they should reject these women who are coming to YouTube to always say Nigerian men, this, Nigerian men, that. Look, every man have their own quality and their own good and bad. You understand? So to the Nigerian man, you see, every new thing or foreign is kind of like acquisitive. So when you are kind of like acquisitive of something, you kind of like ginger towards that thing, like, wow, this is different. Even to some men and women, exotic. How do you welcome exotic? Sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's not actually where you're coming from or where you are. So why other African women in the continent see Nigerian men different? Because we Nigerian men are kind of like, you see, in Nigeria, we say Nigeria is a comedy center, whereby if you just start, you'll be laughing at people. Because Nigeria behave differently. You understand? So people are not used to this kind of Nigerian way of life. We are like music. Our type of music, Fela, Juju, Sonny Ade, Obezanobe, and all these things. So when they see Nigerian people move, they think, oh, my love to Nigerian men, because it will be very difficult for a Nigerian man to hit you first. And they're always very, very funny.
Yeah, but is that what you said? Something about Nigerian men should not appreciate it or something. I'm
Yes.
not sure why.
Yeah, because you see, if because it seems like they always talk about the generosity of Nigerian men. That Nigerian men give. Nigerian men don't waste time. They'll give you if they have. They'll show you with their pocket, with their money. You understand? That their Kenyan men don't give. They are this. So you have to be, because if you're in a relationship that is not truly with true love, that relationship is more or less like you're just wasting your time there. Because the person you're with, the day that money is gone, that is the day the OT will die. I'll give you an example to Nigeria. I don't know, you live in London. If you ever know something about the Dutch people, what you know about the Dutch people is that that's always reflect towards the white women. The white women is that when you approach them, they will be asking you all kind of questions about yourself. You understand? Then they try to open a diary about you. How was your name? Where you from? Uh, then do you present number? People started talking. Later they invite you for maybe for a walk or for a dinner or for a chat. Then they start asking you what you like, what you don't like. You understand? The truth there, by seeing you physically, they start studying you, your character. You start studying how you move. They're not looking at your pocket. They don't look like if you're wearing Versace or if you're wearing Armani or whatever you're wearing. They just want to know you personally first. Then they start judging. That's about personality. Slowly, they start seeing who you.
I'm sorry to say though that some of your points, you have. I think that's one thing that is quite. You tend to have your own opinions, and it tends to be quite unique. But however, when you say the Western women don't look at your pocket, that is not necessarily accurate. They do. It's just that they also look at other things too. And even with all that, they miss the most important aspect, which is something that they cannot predict. They still end up breaking up more than these African women anyway.
Yeah, to that, but the truth matter, let me just tell you the truth is this, that even when you don't have, they start saying, I can turn this guy to be this, to be that. They will invest to you first. Then they start encourage you, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Then when you start doing these things, now you start sharing. You understand me? But at first, they push you first because they're not in love with you, but not on the basis of what you have at that time. Because some of these African women, they are after what you provide now and how many dollars you're bringing out. So the love is not actually the love of personality, is the love of that, what the greens you bring out of Africa. That's what I said. See, with money, African woman will tell you, within 30 minutes, I love you. That's why I said that you guys should reject it. They should let these women know them on who they are. You understand? It's not just African women, all black women on earth. You understand me? It's all about the money first. You understand me? They should let just look. If a woman love you, to be honest, just who you are, not on the pocket of money. Money will come later, but it's not the basis of it. You understand me?
I don't think, to be honest with you, Ola, I'm gonna push back. I don't think it's just only black women. I mean, if you look at, let's say, a lot of European guys, as we know, not all European guys. I want to be quite clear about this because I don't want them coming after me on this platform or any other platform. But there's a certain segment, even some of my, I hate to say white friends, but white friends who are European, ancestry, they go to Asia and they get, kind of like what we call mail order brides. And do you think those women not looking at the opportunities as far as moving into America and getting their better lot in life, why they choose these men? I mean, think about it. I mean, it's not just only, let's say African women think about money. Let's be perfectly honest with us, ourselves. And living in the United States, where I guess, the demographics is changing, be the majority white, everything, everything is wide open with all these people coming in the country now. I see it with my white women. They don't be, especially white women of certain rank. Okay. And and let me just be stereotypical. She's one of those pretty white women, supposedly in white standards, with blonde hair and blue eyes. And a lot of my white friends used to complain about them being so stuck up and all that type of stuff. They usually go for rich guys. They're not going to go for no white, dusty looking dude who's pretty much living in a trailer park.
That is very accurate, because the idea that Western women don't look at your pocket is completely misplaced.
No, no,
Uh, they do look for it properly.
sorry,
And
no, I'm not saying in some aspect, but I'm talking about generally, not about the percentage of some.
No, I think I'm saying generally speaking.
No,
I mean,
even generally
I'm
speaking, it's
around
almost
white
similar
people all
to
the time.
Nigerian men too.
Right.
Nigerian women do marry poor men too.
Tudaja, let me give you this. How did the Africans come to Europe? Right? Majority Africans who are in Europe are coming to Europe. How are they getting their documents? Is sometimes that these guys have no job. Some of them doing might be illegal job. Not all of them doing drugs. You have to understand. Sometimes some of them are cleaners, but something they find a
I
very
get
good.
what you're saying. Some of them make it to Europe through marriage or relationship
some of them married
but most of the people that make
women.
it to Europe have nothing to do with that. They come with visa, they come with jobs, they come with family connections in Europe, not
We
with
know that
white
one,
people.
but most men, I swear to God, most African guys tend to marry these European women who tend to stand for them. I know a guy.
Not most, you see
No,
that term you use most is where you are
okay,
mistaken.
let's. I know a
Some,
guy.
and it's a small minority, not even
Look,
a big one.
Tunaja, let's be honest. I know a guy.
I'm being honest.
Who came to Europe. This guy came as an asylum seeker. They rejected him. A Nigerian guy, an Igbo guy for that matter.
But here's the thing, Ola. How do you know? Because
hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on first. This guy was sleeping somewhere in his friend's coach. They moved to some deeper in the village, maybe to look for, because the city women are far more their users also. He went to the deeper village and found a beautiful wife. Boom! The woman was able to convince his father to borrow this guy some money. This guy started shipping second tires to Nigeria. Boom! The guy become a multi-millionaire. Not in naira. I'm talking in euros now. You know, the guy drive all kinds, they build all kind of stuff. The guy swear he will never leave this woman. Even when Nigerian culture that to having a male child is far important. And this mother gives this guy 2 daughters. The guy said, "This way I die." So what I'm trying to say is, that is true love. But you cannot be with a woman that always try to put down their men down in their own country.
Yeah, but she's not putting her men down. Now she said that their men, she's had good experience with their men too. That is what makes. That's what I found unique about this lady. She didn't just put down all the men. She said she's had good experience with her men, and she's had good experience with Nigerian men. And she even called out her own people for hating Nigerian men, that they target Nigerian men all the time in their country.
Further, can I do a pushback on Mr. Ola? The amount of money you are even calling that these men are spending on these women is just minimal amount. And maybe take them to dinner, pay for their cab, Uber once in a while, give them good treats. We are not talking of giving them thousands of dollars here. So generally, when you hold on, these men, some of these men in those countries, these women are talking about, they are very greedy, tight with money, not caring about the safety of the woman. But Nigerian men are generous because they care about the welfare of the woman, even though they are dating the woman. It's part of our culture. Every month, if you're a married man, if you're based in Nigeria those days, you give your wife some money. This is money for the upkeep. So
I think in our culture. I think in our culture, what bleeds. Let me just, because I'm sorry, Tiger. I'm trying to just round up because the dynamic is going to be coming on, and it's good. You know what I discovered? It's good to be making shorter videos because it's easier for people to watch. That too is important. This Cat Williams that went for 2 hours 30 minutes. That's one of the longest videos I've ever watched of other people. So I now I'm beginning to understand that maybe I should be making shorter ones too, because it helps people to actually hear the message. No, people are not going to hear if it's too long. But I think like in the Igbo culture or the South, let's put it the South, on southern part of Nigeria, they have a culture of, especially in the Southeast, they believe that the wealth of a man is shown on his family. So the way they take care of the wife, he can be driving a rickety car, but his wife will be driving the BMW, the better car. He can be wearing rubbish clothes. He's going to spend the best on his wife. So you can see that can bleed into even other cultures in Nigeria, that where they prioritize the women, they prioritize their families than their individual interests. So can you imagine them going to other cultures that don't have that? They will be desired by the women, because the women will be like, wow, I didn't think men can think like this. So that is what you are seeing bleed through. And I think Nollywood is making it even, more pronounced. But it's a thing. To pretend as if it's not a thing, is, like other women are doing it. Other women are not doing it. Nigerian women are not going online praising other men. They are praising, they tend to praise European men now and again. You do see it now and again, but not on the scale you are seeing the Nigerian men in South Africa, Uganda, and so many different places.
So that I reject. Look, maybe I'm different. I reject that. I'm not going to spend no damn shit for no damn woman, because we have to work. We have to work together, man. You know what I'm saying? That time of giving these people's money is over. Especially me that grew up. Especially me that grew up on. When I did have these guests are like running away from me at that time. You understand me? When I did
That is
have,
the nature of women, though.
what I did have, I didn't know nothing about them. You understand? So now that I build up with somebody, I'm not having. Look, I'll give you an example, man. I know when I was young, I approached a girl like that. The girl said, Who the hell are you? Woman be people are talking, spirit want to come and talk. It could be a spirit. You
She
understand?
said she's saying the right thing now.
No, what?
See, why are you taking it personal?
What
See,
the? Hold on. When she
she
said
said
that,
the right thing. You are
no,
nobody.
I'll be honest for you. I was.
I know. It's
plan
gonna
to.
hurt.
I plan to have a long cane, very long cane for that person. I decided no. Let me just put it aside. But guess what? After
Wow.
about 15 years or something like that, when I came back, you understand me? When she saw me in that church, you understand? When I pull up, this time around, I've made it. I finished my university. I've everything. When she saw me coming out of Mercedes Benz, S class at that time, you understand me? That was 2002 January. I still remember 2002 January on the 25th. This girl was the first person to jump out of that church. Hey, bros, come and hug me. I can't really remember her anymore. Now, like, push her a little bit off, like, who are you? I said, you didn't see my wife? You crazy or what? They were look, hey, this is the girl. I just shake her. So what I'm trying to say about is, you can give if you have, but I'm not going to give, man.
Okay, I take your point. I think
You have to check it out. That's why that's why I'm not really married to a Nigerian woman really like that. You understand me? I'm not married to them.
you're married to a European.
Oh yeah, I'm married to Dutch. I'm married to Dutch woman. Today I'm not going to sit and say, "Oh, I build everything myself." I build my wife. You understand me?
And most Nigerian women build like that too. See, I hear what you are saying, and what that lady told you is basically the nature of women, because women tend to be, they have a specific term for it. They call it hypergamous. They tend to marry up. They tend to date up because they want people to protect them. It's just the nature of this thing. Because I think most mammals tend to do that. To be fair, they tend to prefer men that are more accomplished, so that they can give birth to stronger men, and evolution doing its thing.
And also
so don't take it personal.
Yeah, it's a safety net as well too. I mean, from a woman's point of view, if you're financially stable, she wants a stable household. She don't want to be in a household that she's going to struggle, that you're going to be struggling to get your daily bread, or you're going to have to, or in the United States, being on welfare and stuff like that. But I mean, some women, I know a lot of them accept it, and they get with these dusties, and and they wind up being in that situation.
Yeah, that one is the picker one that the people keep talking about. That's a new term. I didn't know where it came from. That picker one is very interesting, because the concept that they don't know how to pick the right men. I think that is where this hypergamous thing that I talked about, which I technically support. I actually prefer women going with men that are capable. You can't keep going with losers. You're just going to have generation of losers. You can't keep breeding losers. You have to go with people that are capable, that can meet the challenges of the day. However, if that picker is broken, then you have a problem. The entire thing is broken because you can't pick the best men. You pick useless men. They are going to have useless children that cannot do better for themselves. So that is where, I start having issues with that freedom of, let the woman just pick because they're not picking well, clearly.
You ain't lying, man, because, I don't want to bring some of my friends on blast on here. I'll just throw scenarios out there. I was surprised as far as certain households, people who I know, and this person happened to be an African-American, that, his mom, and, I'm not going to put his stamp on his mom or call her this or call her that. I mean, because back in the day, people would bill her as the H word, as a hoe. But, she got 5 different kids for 5 different men.
Wow.
And, but my buddy, he came out being good, you know what I mean? As far as a good person, married, same wife for many, many different years. And, stuff like that, you see that not only in the African-American community, but many different communities in the United States, where, these women have sex with these guys, have these babies, and then have sex with the next guy, and have a baby, and then have sex with the next guy, and have that baby, and the guy is not being supportive. A good example, unfortunately, even though my father was considered good looking, he looks kind of like O.J. Simpson, How
did I not?
Finding out that this nigga. Let me finish. Finding out this nigga
actually sound like that. Actually,
finding out this nigga has, gave birth multiple different children that I'm keep on getting from Ancestor.com. I think you my brother.
Yep. Nigeria first.
Brian, I want to ask one question because I noticed something recently. There's a Nigerian guy, I think Adebayo Gulesi or something like that. So he sold his company to BlackRock. So they posted on some of the Black Excellent, Billionaire Excellent, something like that. So I went through the comment. One thing I observed about mostly Black American men is that sometimes they worry too much about the person's look than actually the message. They rather pay attention to the useless thing. They were worried about the guy's airline, and the post required that he sold his company for $12 billion. That should be the focus. How he looks does not matter. I don't understand why other men should pay attention to other men's look. It's kind of
be honest with you, I don't understand that. I mean, I would say generally speaking, I don't look at a person's looks. I would look at what they could do.
Get to offer.
How they made their money.
Which man are you saying that they are looking at his looks? I've never heard of.
No, there's a guy that sold his company recently to BlackRock for $12 billion. He's a Nigerian guy. He's in UK. You're supposed to know. Uses to sing. Is it Adebayo Gulesi?
Okay, he sold his company, so
but they were getting on his hairline. That'll make no sense.
Yeah, so they now post. I think the platform is run by an America, so it's a platform to celebrate Black achievers. You understand me? So they post it. So I went through the comments. Everyone just decided to pay attention to his hairline. Like, what does that?
No, I think people because obviously truth. But he sold the company though, and each he was building, probably people will be talking about something else. And for all you know, they are trolls anyway. They're just doing their thing. And
but I rather focus on the main topic than what's not necessary. What about look? Look doesn't count in anything.
I think
maybe in that video he looked. They showed the hairline so big. When the look become the topic, there's something has up.
I mean, maybe what about African-Americans do? I mean, what about my culture? We do tease each other a lot. We do. Oh my God!
I rather pay attention to the source, like the news, instead of
no. I mean, in my culture, we tease each other to the nauseam. If they see something that's kind of like wrong or off, someone will make a comment about it, and it's just like a cascade effect. We tease each other all the time. I mean, that's why like some people might make have a thing as far as certain Africans come here, call them African booty scratch or what have you, and we call each other that.
Yeah,
But a lot of
African Americans
Africans
are
don't
vicious,
realize
man,
that.
with insults. You guys are vicious with insults. But then again, African Americans, what I find with African Americans is that they are very, I have to say that because they tend to be far more tolerant than most of our communities, actually. They are far more tolerant than Nigerians. They are far more tolerant than many African countries. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. It could be partly because they are used to interacting with different people. But I found them to be, because if you go to any African American channel today, they will hear you out. They will let you talk and stuff like that. They will know. Like some Nigerian channels, I can't even go. There are some Nigerian channels you go to. They're like, how dare you come and talk to me
Yeah,
about this topic?
and
Get
on
out
that
of
one,
here.
you are right. Like we like to force our own belief on other people, so we
Yeah,
do that a
yeah.
lot, and that's not good.
You know, you will get cussed out if you just say one thing out of line. But African Americans, they tend to hear people out. You would think it's Africans that do that more, but African Americans are more open to hearing. But they will challenge you if you don't say what they want you to say. They will challenge you. They will fight you, but they still hear you out. They still even allow you to still come in and have a discussion and stuff like that. But Ben, this is going to be a bigger topic some other time. So I think I will have to round this video up. I have to try to shut it up. But I think the African American community, a lot has to be discussed with the revelations of Cat Williams, and there's so many things that needs to be rounded up in that. And this is what I was always detecting, that something is off within that community. There are controls on it to keep it in check. And in a way, the revelation is beginning to come out now from the elites themselves. You know, because these people like Cat Williams and his kind, even look at the history of this Will Smith that just came out last year. A lot of things are just coming out now. You know, things, Puff Daddy, all this stuff that people used to respect. We are hearing things about them now that is
Oh,
not
you
part
talking
of
about
the image we
you
used
talking
to
about
know.
Hollyweird.
Hollyweird, you call it Hollyweird.
We call it Hollyweird.
Hollyweird. Oh my God, it's got a name now. Yeah, I think it's probably Hollyweird.
I mean, that's we've been calling Hollyweird. That's our first.
I think it's also. I think the symptoms indicate that it's also present in politics. What we are discussing here in Hollywood is also present in politics, because there's a lot of things within the African American community that don't add up. It's also in Nigeria. Make no mistake. And we see that I see the same patterns in the politics of the African American. You don't see them doing things that they're supposed to be doing. You don't see the results as it's supposed to be, given the influence. They're everywhere. The defense secretary, they're everywhere. But where are the results?
Let me say the reason why Black America don't really have real power is that if you look in all aspect of the America economy, they don't actually control any sector of it, and that's the problem.
But the problem is coming from somewhere. Why don't you? That's the point I'm trying to highlight. Why do you think that is? Because they are being controlled.
The reason for that is that many of them don't like to do the real work.
I don't think that is it. I don't think that is it. I really don't. I think there's controls in place.
For you to build anything to have power, for you to build anything to have power, you have to build you have to lay the foundation yourself.
Okay, fine. You have to lay the foundation yourself. But from what Cat Williams is saying, it's clear that what they call gatekeepers, there are controls in place to ensure some people don't make it, some people make it. So you can't, and maybe that control is breaking down, and that's why you're hearing all these things come out.
I mean, you know, whenever we
let
me push this first. You know, don't think that we haven't tried. I mean, here's the thing: if you look at our history in the United States, and especially during the early part of the 20th century, after let's say we got out of slavery, there was definitely a push and efforts as far as African Americans controlling their own destinies, pushing ourselves out our own bootstrap, setting up our own colleges, which we still do have to this day, mind you, creating our own business industries, like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and many different areas. But guess what? When we were rising and rising and rising, jealousy started coming into place within the greater dominant of society. If you look at the situation in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where it was black intellectuals and doctors and lawyers, and they call it the Black Wall Street. Guess who attacked it? Not only the citizenry, But the bloody U.S. government did attack it. They bombed it. And it was a continuous happen in every other little spot.
You're right, bro. Black America, look, hold on.
Let me say this. For instance, we all wear this brand, Zara. If you open your Zara and you check the label where it's made in Morocco. The owner of that company set up those companies in Morocco. Africa American can do that also. They can set up factories in Africa. They produce those things there and ship it back home and sell it there. It is possible. It can
And
be
it's a
done.
good business model. And I think some of them are doing it already now. They are beginning to.
My brother, African America is there. No matter sometimes we are true, sometimes my brother. If you really look, let's assume, for all the slaves, whatever they did to these people, for all the slaves, if you go to some countries whereby their colonial masters are like, if you go to like,
Can you stop calling men masters, please?
okay, whereby
Europeans, you are married to one of them, and can you imagine if he hears your wife hears you calling them masters?
Okay, to that, let's If you come to look, African American are the most aggressive. They're doing their best. They're doing their best.
Ola,
Yeah.
I've seen you in so many discussion spaces. For you of all people to still be using the term colonial masters.
Oh yeah.
I find that shocking.
So I went to Nigerian system of education, so there was certain things I was saying. I'm an old school, bro. You know what I mean? So don't
yeah,
put
try to share it because I remember a South African saying that how humiliating it was for them when they have to call all the white people in their country, even the grown up ones, master, and their children little masters. Can you imagine a white child growing up hearing you call them masters? It's not.
Let's just be honest. Black Americans are doing their best compared to other ones that they took. Let's assume the Jamaicans in England. What are they really doing there? Apart from Nigerians that are really trying to make things happen there. You understand me? The Black Americans, they have all these things, but the problem is they will use tax. They will use all form of system to hammer these people. You understand me? They're doing their best. To be honest, I
believe so too. They've done all they can do. It's the continent that is failing them.
Yeah, to be honest, this was, but bro,
it's not easy. It's not easy when you are under the cosh of the most powerful country in the world. At the same time, they will keep you in check.
I visited Holland for 3 months, so I was trying to get what the black people did in Holland. What they're doing, they call them Surinamers and Taylor. They're doing nothing, but they speak the same language like the Dutch people. You understand me? They're very slow. You understand me? So just imagine that they even enjoying, but the Black Americans are like, when they move, the white Americans are not playing, my brother. These are aggressive people who will systematically want to dismantle you. Not just the white Americans, other race.
Other races are very aggressive, and the truth is that one thing I discovered recently that I was shocked to find out was that MKO Abiola was looking to support the African American reparation movement. I didn't know that. I don't know whether Kwame Brown knows about it, where the person that won the presidential election in Nigeria wanted to join with African Americans to fight for reparation. In other words, the entire continent of Africa would have backed the reparation movement in America. And they didn't hand over to him. They waited for the election to happen. They canceled the election, jailed him for 5 years, and he died while Americans were in Nigeria. So I fear that those things may be connected, because the American reparation movement is going to cost America billions upon billions of dollars. And some people probably didn't want that to happen. Hence, maybe they didn't support him to become president of Nigeria. I didn't know this history till just about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and most of us think that the reason why they failed him was because of Nigerian politics. I think Nigerian politics plays into it, but I think part of the reason why America didn't support him was because of that.
Oh yes, because at that time America was very aggressive in a way in Nigeria. So Abiola might be.
Most African Americans don't know this history. That's the thing. How did this history get hidden?
No. To Niger, it didn't start. Sorry. Reparation wasn't started by M. Abiola. It was started by the Americans, actually.
No, I said he was looking to throw the weight of his state behind
yeah, nothing
them.
would have happened anyway. Nothing would have happened.
How do you know?
No. He's not that powerful. He has
the president of Nigeria. The president of Nigeria is not powerful.
My brother at that time. Things would have moved well.
Nigeria has access to the UN, has access to African Union, has access to the
Do not forget that
it would have support.
Do not forget that they tag MK Abiola that is a member of CIA. So
yeah, you wonder why they tagged him that way.
Hold on. Yeah, we don't know. He might have worked for CIA. We don't know. So,
even if he did, even if he don't, it doesn't matter. It's not what you think they did, it's what he wants to do. That's what you should be focusing on.
If they keep a dossier, if they have a dossier about you, right, a dirty dossier about someone, and you try to rear your ugly head, they'll push out that dirty dossier, and that might kill his ambition anywhere. But
why did they use a dirty dossier then?
Why they don't need to, because he was under. He's already in cell, locked up by Abacha, so they don't need to apply.
Yeah, but the question you should be asking yourself is why? Why did you see? Let me tell you what doesn't make sense. Abacha knew Abiola. Babangida knew Abiola. They were friends for years. Their families were, from what I got, they were even dating each other. And they started the election process, canceled the first one. Abiola didn't run. They started the second one process. Abiola didn't run. They canceled it too. Then Abiola started running for president. He chose to run for president. They allowed the election process to carry on until after the presidential election. Everybody has cast their vote just to announce it that they canceled. Something intervened.
I think what happens that there was I think Babangida is a kind of person that even when he had a problem with you, he doesn't show it openly. I think there was rumor. I don't know. There was rumor those days that that M. Abiola was owing him some certain money. In a deal that he didn't release the money. So probably that's where he did that. But see, I think
there are certain things you don't just ascribe to personal issue. There are certain things that are beyond personal issue. Babangida had to resign himself. He's not even getting the office. He had to, but yet he blocked Abiola.
Yeah, so
something else that should tell you that follow the money. They say always follow the money, and where the money truly lies is in that reparation. If you want to do something that will cost America billions upon billions of dollars,
so if I may ask you,
consider that as
the power that be back then, MK Abiola presidency was like a threat to their, to their power. So they didn't see it as presidency that would benefit them. So
that is even P2B has talked about recently that the different quarters that they have, they were trying to induce him with different things, and you can see personally, I see that as a greater threat because the African American reparation movement, they are not demanding for 10 billion, they are not demanding for 20 billion, they are not demanding for 50 billion. It's a lot of money.
If you're a prison,
it's
that's
a lot of money they are demanding for.
If you're a prison, that's where you will know how important that your race is. If you're in prison, Nigeria guys in prison in the United States, they have to go back. They have to go to their I call their brothers, to the Black Americans who are in prison with them. They're born together there to protect themselves. So all this YouTube dividing and conquer, it does not work in real life. In prison system.
Why are we talking about prison?
No. But what I'm saying to Nigeria is this. You see, in prison, you stay by your race. Nigerians, any African man is an African.
But isn't that what Abiola was doing?
He will go to Black American side, right? No matter the Black Americans not, it's an African. No, they'll say, brother, come this side. They will protect his ass as long he protect their own also against the other race. You understand me? So what I'm trying to say
I think you misunderstand what I'm saying.
No. What I'm trying to say
you are just completely going into a different direction.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is this. I swear to God, when black people were having their own fashion, you know, I used to buy 50-cent t-shirt, very quality t-shirt.
You're telling story now. Tell me what you're trying to say.
Okay, that's what that African Americans, they're doing their best. The majority of most of them have money, but you don't see them in time. Most of them are very, very rich. You understand me? Forget these ones that show us on TV.
Yeah, but that's a totally different thing. We know American, they are very, very successful African American that are worth billions upon billions. They are probably they are even richer than Dangote. But the point I was making was that because I've always wondered why African leaders that go to the African Union, this in the UN Assembly every year, they don't meet with the African Americans. African leaders, 50-something of them, go to America every year. They have no relationship with them.
They probably do, mainly probably with, I would say, African American politicians.
Very, very. See, you don't see it publicly.
You don't see it publicly, but it's probably in private, and certain donations. Those think tanks in Washington. Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah, are you sure? I've never seen any evidence of it. See, hold on. The point I'm making is that there's no evidence of it by even seeing visuals of it or audios of it or documents of it, and there is no result of it too, which is even more consequential. There's no result of it. So
I wouldn't doubt. Even though we might not see it publicly, but a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes where it's not in public.
Like what? If Africa was doing well today, I would say, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but there's nothing going on that is to our benefit at all.
You're talking about as far as businesses and stuff like that.
No, our societies, the way we function compared to other people, how successful we are, how rich we are. Look at the poverty in Africa. Look at how poor Niger is. And I feel like it's almost like there's a glass wall that is in America that you don't see Africans interacting with African American leadership, which is something that should be happening every year.
Then there's Haiti.
And exactly, you see Haiti.
That's the elephant in the room right there. We never addressed that.
Yeah, but that is my point. And I've always been wondering why that was the case. And now I'm beginning to understand that Sankara, they said Sankara tried to do the same thing. Sankara met African Americans. He made a speech to them. He was addressing them, and boom, he's gone. And he wanted to collaborate with African Americans. Abiola wanted to do similar stuff. He's gone. So maybe there's a reason why you don't see our leaders interacting with African Americans.
I think they do behind the scenes.
Yeah, show us. I don't know what kind of behind the scenes. I don't buy that behind the scenes talk. If it's too mysterious to observe, it's mysterious. It's not happening.
I believe wealthy in Africa, no matter where they are, should have like a club whereby maybe every year they meet and deliberate on how to push the black economy or black agenda forward. I think that should be the way
to go.
Like they should
have the economic forum. They have all kinds of forums.
But that economic forum, they normally is worldwide. I'm talking about for black people only, black billionaire or business leader.
If I'm not mistaken, they have one for Africa too. They have one for Africa. I think I remember one where Obasanjo was there, Kagame, all of them.
No, I don't think that's the case, because if there's one, I would have seen maybe a meeting from who is the richest black America? Is it no? There are two of them. One,
no. African Americans don't show up there. That's for sure. This is my.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I keep saying it. They isolate the African Americans. Africans have such meetings, but they keep African Americans. In short, they keep all diasporans, Haiti, all of them out of it. And it's more recently they started having meeting with CARICOM. And even then, look at the state of Haiti today. Even if Africans are poor, we are heavy enough to be able to stop the chaos going on in Haiti. But nothing is happening. The chaos going on in Haiti, I think it's even probably it's just as bad as and it's the capital even. It's not from what I gather, it's not everywhere.
Gangs control the capital or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I think someone like Tony Lumelu should lead that movement, because Tony Lumelu is more friendlier than the rest of the billionaire in Nigeria. I think he should lead that movement, because he's very familiar with the entertainment industry. At least he supports most of the artists and entertainers. So I believe he should lead that movement. in
Why
connecting.
do you think they are not doing it? Dangote is not doing it. Other rich Africans are not doing it because they know better.
The thing is that Dangote own is very different. You know, he's a very kind of these are extremely private people. You
I
are
don't know why
listening
we
them.
make every excuse for them. These people, stop making excuse for these people. They are not acting in our interest. You didn't know who Dangote likes to collaborate with? Bill Gates and all the other crazies that want to
Because
wreck our
if you look
economies.
at it to Nigeria, all Indian worldwide, whether they are Indian, Kenya, Indian, South Africa, they all come to, mostly the wealthy ones I'm talking about, they always do things together.
They collaborate now. They know their communities now.
Yes.
It's only us that don't see. See, I think we do. It's just that whenever we did, we've always failed. That's what I'm beginning to realize, and that is why I didn't know the history of. I didn't know Abiola was trying to work with African Americans. I didn't think he was even meeting them. I never knew. Why
So that they will want them. You have to understand the people in power. You have to even the Ghana man that try to play hide and seek. You will be warned. You see the people in power, the people you see in the front line. America is like when you go to the embassy, also you see a lot of white people there and some of these Miss White and Latinos there. You understand me? So you only see Black American people even in Nigeria embassy there. You understand me? By the desk, people that call you and start interviewing you. You always see a old white woman, very mean old white woman or old white man, or a mixture between a Latino and a white person. You understand me?
That's crazy.
So that's what you see always there. So all these black ones you see now in UN that represent them now, if you put them aside and say, oh sister, they will greet you heavily. But the moment they step out of that protocol they give to them or they allow them to run around with, you'll be fired. And any African leader that tend to come with such a black power of a thing, try to do more better for Black Americans, I swear to God, you'll be overthrown or you'll be won.
I think they've learned their lesson. I think that's why they don't tend to reach out as much. But African Americans have the freedom to reach out though. They can't. Maybe they do deter them too. After all, they control. They also, for what Cat Williams is saying, they do have checks on them too.
Nigeria they do. For instance, I think Jay-Z was given Nigeria citizenship. I think he came to Nigeria in 2008 or 7 or so. Yes, they gave. Yes, I remember. He was a former governor then, Bukola Saraki. They gave him passport, but ever since he hasn't visited Nigeria.
I don't know.
Did
he get Nigerian citizenship? I didn't know that.
Yes, I saw a Nigerian passport on his hand, but they hardly go. They hardly visit. So what do you want? Most of these people, they don't. It just see the thing is, if you look at right now, let's use the entertainment for example.
I don't think he was given
all the white counterparts, they are all trooping to Nigeria to make investment. But we hardly see because I would prefer the Black America are the one helping Nigeria to distribute this music, and they also make profit from these things instead of giving it to the white men or white company.
Afrobeat, they see help us in Afrobeat too. You can call them not Black America or maybe Drake and not those guys, but you have to start Puffy. Puffy play a role.
That's what I'm saying. They play a role in
Puffy play a role in Burna Boy Grammy now. You know,
yes, I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that they are not making money from it because they
no, they don't make money from it. They just do it. They make money out of it. Also, Nigeria learned the business aspect of music. These modern boys I'm talking about, the business of music. These new Nigerian boys that you see now, they learn the business part of it for this Black Americans.
Whoever that distribute the music is the one making more money from inside platform like
I don't think it's official that Jay-Z is a Nigerian citizen. I don't think it's official. Maybe it was just some kind of chieftaincy kind of stuff, or
they gave him
when
he came to Nigeria.
I don't think he's a citizen.
Him and Beyonce way back in 2000.
No. Now I'm sure it's not. Definitely, I know they are not Nigerian citizens. I am sure they gave him something, maybe some kind of honor or something. I don't think he's officially.
Wait,
It could be
let me
diplomatic,
Google.
this thing, passport, or
Hold
kind
on.
of stuff that they give them.
Yeah, I believe so. That was what they
No,
gave
if
him.
it was, I was checking online right now. It doesn't show up. But if you search Idris Elba, citizen of Sierra Leone, boom, it will pop up because it was
Yeah,
actually given
yeah.
one.
Then
But no, isn't
then
Idris Elba
Ludacris.
from Sierra Leone?
Then Ludacris,
Yeah, it's from Sierra
citizen of
Leone,
Gabon.
but not Nigerian. But if Jay-Z was a Nigerian citizen, because I just searched Jay-Z Nigerian citizen, if he was, it will be the first thing that will pop up. You will see a lot of evidence for it. I doubt it. I don't think so. Nigerians will know. It will be part of the psyche of Nigerians right now. If I think anyway, I might be mistaken. It's always possible. So let me just round up. I have to be abrupt about this. We have to close out.
Okay, let me be the first. To Nigeria, just the truth of the matter is, what I just said is,
I'm closing now, not for
yeah.
you to make another this thing. Otherwise,
No. That Nigeria should reject all this Kenyan, whatever they're calling themselves, South Africa, coming to talk about this nonsense, and focus on what they can do and build together, but not on this all these things. That's just all, bro.
So you would rather we just accept the scam one and not accept this one? Eh?
No, not about the scam one. Just
we have to take the rough with smooth, man. Why you tell us not to accept it? Somebody's complimenting you. You are telling them don't compliment me.
No. To Nigeria, I'm not talking about scam. You know, you don't know. What I mean, Nigeria know over the world, not just on that. That's a small, tiny part of those people spoiling our name. Nigeria work with a lot of people. You understand me? This music of a teen, how do you think Afrobeat become more popular? They work with a lot of Black Americans. You know, Nigerians are in Sony's and everything. I'll tell you the truth now. This guy that sick Finesse. You understand? I forget Fizz. Fizz work with Dr. Dre. You know, in the same studio. So what I'm trying to say is, we should not be known for people who give money out to some of these people. We should be known people who want to use that money to invest and for all kind of something. We are not for that Christmas or Chinese giver. That's just what I mean.
Thank you. Listen, thank you all for coming in. Just call me Brian. You know, I do see when I'm on Dr. Damages, and you you do say some funny stuff. Yeah. Thank you for coming in, and Nigeria first.
You always come to my feed and all that type of stuff. So
yeah. Because I have to try to highlight comments from the two Nigeria side, because it's always Dr. Damages and I'm sitting on most of the time, and we're often talking about Nigerian stuff. We don't get to talk about international.
Don't worry about it, because you know I get a different perspective as far as your situation over there and your challenges. It don't have to always be about my part of the world or the United States. Even though I wouldn't mind you guys venturing out of the United States a little bit and then talking about a little bit of the Caribbean countries, talking about Brazil, talking about Haiti, talking about, you know, those issues between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. We could investigate that and go deeper into that, the reasons why. Talking about Trinidad, you know, all those different countries, you know, we can't.
You know what I noticed with this discussion that is just making me smile just now. Not one person has complained about moderating. Oh my God, man! Yes, my God! You know what? If this was Dr. Damages right now, Nigerians, oh my God, you would have had at least 2-3 complaints. You know, who are you? Who are you talking now? Oh my God!
Yeah. But I just want to go back. I just want to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
My God,
Real quick. A lot of women don't know what they want. Even my other half, she tell me, and she look at what a lot of women say. She's like, Brian, you know, they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm thinking, which she's telling me, you know, and I think she's pretty much right. I mean, not all. Some women do have their priorities together, but you know, the sheer fact that you're going to generalize the whole population versus your population, someone must have hurt her that she fall in love with, and she's bashing and taking it out on all of her men in the country. And then this one person from Nigeria treated her good. Nigerian men are the best. Kenyan men are trash, or you know whatnot. But I think a lot of it comes from a place of hurt.
I think maybe there's some truth there. However, the reason why I would say however is the tendencies that I actually believe in. When there are tendencies of people saying similar stuff, it's not only one person saying it about one specific, because if it's hurt can travel in either direction, isn't it? You can go in towards Kenyans, you can go towards Ugandans, you can go towards any group. So if that was hurt, then the lady was with a Ugandan man. Let's say the Kenyan man treated her badly and she goes with a Ugandan man and Ugandan man treated her better. You'll be seeing videos of women making videos of Ugandan, that's making of Ugandan men too. But it seems to be targeted towards one specific group of men. And this is where the tendency aspect becomes this valid. And so that's why this, you see, now this is exactly the kind of conversation that this is the reason why I raised this topic too, because I feel like people mix anecdotal issues versus the trends. You have to know how to also read the trends as you're also reading individual and maybe even societal issues, because the trends tend to have some element of truth to them. And just because it's a generalization doesn't mean something bad. You can generalize something good. And
I'm
yeah.
sending you a link. Popo is about Jay-Z, so I think they gave him.
Oh, you sent me a link about it. Yeah.
I'll also send you a link to that School Days movie too.
This guy, that doesn't make him a Nigerian now, is he?
It was in 2006. They also it's like honorary citizen, yes.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, because and it does expire. It's almost like the type Tinubu got with Guinea, isn't it? So you can get temporary citizenship.
Yeah, you are right.
It's not a proper one. It's
sent you
Binance that have the proper one.
To Nigel, I also sent you the link of the two Spike Lee movie back in the day. You can watch that anytime. You can't post
I saw some of that video already, and I'm beginning to get the vibes of what you were talking about. That was you don't like my long hair and blue eyes, you wearing contact lenses. That is very that is something we really need to have that conversation someday, about some of these things we do within our community that we should be calling out, like Ola calling foreigners this thing colonial master. I don't like that term. It's ridiculous. You can't be calling other human beings that are like you masters. We need to get that part of this thing. We need to stop associating good looks to lighter skin when we have a lot of dark people. What is that? That's self-hating.
You are right. That's why I don't like the word. That's why I don't like the word white supremacy. Also, I don't like it. It's like you are giving people too much power.
Exactly. I totally agree with that.
All right, then, gentlemen, and call me Brian. Nigeria first. Nigeria first. Now you see that name seems to make sense. Nigeria first. Tiger in the city, Alozie. Thank you all for coming in. Let me just acknowledge the people on the chat. And Don John, thank you for coming in. Jem Jewel, thank you for coming in. I see you there on the chat. Biggie Smalls, I see you there. You seem to be in support of most of the discussion. Usual business, I see you there. Hairs 969, I see you there. Hairs 969. Davis Nwazima, I see you there. About Nollywood movies. I don't know. Have you seen some nice ones lately? The pattern seems to be the same. The one I saw recently about these warriors in somewhere in the southwest. The effects, no man, the effects. Sometimes when you make effects and it's that bad, compared to other ones, if it's not good enough, brush it up or remove it, because sometimes you don't need the effects for people to get an idea of what you are talking about. You can just you can make people's imagination run wild by writing a good script. So that's what I mean. And that film was in Netflix. I just felt like they let themselves down unnecessarily. You can make videos with very little effects, but the impact is still very, very impactful. And I think that's something that Nigerian movie industry may want to look into. Instead of just making quantity, you want to make quality to be making impact. Because I think we've conquered the quantity aspect. Let's get the quality in. There are quite a lot of great tales of Nigeria and the great tale of even Africa, black people that have not been told. Till today, there have not been one video I've seen about Queen Amerinus. There's not been any good tale that I've seen of King Ovara, this is about Ovarowen or King Jaja of Opopo. Their history, nothing. Nothing about them, no good tale about them. And I think maybe we need to up our game to start actually telling our story, because that is very, very powerful thing. It also inspires the people when they see what their ancestors have done and what they've accomplished. So that's something I want to highlight anyway. Who else is there? Neo South. I see you there, Neo South. Chuk Chuk, I see you there too. All na politics. Thank you for coming in. You are also on the chat. Who else is there that I have not mentioned? Who else? Who else? Liz Z, I see you there, Liz Z. You were here. Edwin was also here. Ray Abua, thank you for your subscription. Like and share and subscribe, please. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. Dr. Damage is trying to get to 100,000. We all have our dreams. We all have our dreams. We have to hammer them. Just 500 subscribers. So if you share this video, they are likely to subscribe, because I keep shouting like and share and subscribe, because it's good that we get more people. Mr. Triumph, I see you there. Thank you for coming in too, Mr. Triumph. Tiger in the city, Alozi. You are also on the panel, and thank you for coming in. Till next time, we should call this a day of days. Bye.
100% agree with you. I had to ask that, is Africa really ready? And that goes to the people who believe that things they happen analog or it happen all of a sudden. No, nothing happened from the blue. There's nothing happened spontaneously. The question is that, are we ready? There's a preparation opportunity. That's what luck is about. Are we prepared? Are we prepared? Are we ready? Are we ready? And the Nigerian ready? And the Gabonese ready? Or that's the question that you asked.
I don't understand. And you went Oga, abeg, leave this matter. You go explain tire. I have always wanted to reply to such a video, and thank God the day is here. This is a 2-in-1 video, and I will answer your question onto why Kenyan women are getting married to Nigerian men, or why Kenyan women are dating Nigerian men. And then I want to reply in general, because the owner of this video happened to reply like 5 comments through videos insulting women who are dating Nigerian men, or women who are married to Nigerian men. First and foremost, the reason as to why we are choosing Nigerian men is because Nigerian men are so loving, they are so caring. Nigerian men know the value of a woman. Nigerian men respect women, and women are their first priority. You have failed as Kenyan men. Today, let's call a spade a spade. You have even been ranked the most irresponsible men in Africa. I am not saying all Kenyan men are bad. I have had bad and good experiences with Kenyan men, and I know there are good and responsible Kenyan men out here. Do not get me wrong. Again, I would like to talk to Kenyans, because 60% of Kenyans hate Nigerians. You really hate Nigerians. You label Nigerians as smugglers, fraudsters, scammers, da. You as a Kenyan man, are you good? No. You as Kenyans, are you any better? No. Why do you have to drag a certain nationality simply because you don't like them? It's not all Nigerians who are bad. It's not all Nigerians who are good. I know there are a lot of Nigerians who are a nuisance, who cause nothing but problems in these countries. But we also have very bad Kenyans. How many scamming schemes do we have in Kenya? That is, you want to tell me that there are no scammers in Kenya? You want to tell me that there are no smugglers who are always caught in JKIA smuggling? That is what you want to tell me? See, let me tell you something that you do not know. How many Kenyans have been deported from UAE due to drinking, irresponsible drinking? How many? Wengi sana, lakini hiyo hamtawaiona. Lakini Nigerian mmoja afanye tu kakitu and everything goes viral. The reason as to why the rate of single mothers is very high in Kenya is because of our irresponsible men. Wanawake wamepotelea huku Gulf kwa sababu ya failed marriages and failed relationships. And here you want to insult Nigerians day in, day out. You are the same men who are against women who are married to white men. You are very bitter online because we have chosen these men over you. I am dating a Nigerian. My Nigerian guy is Yoruba, and I'm not going back. It is not your place to tell people what to do and what not to do. It is not your obligation to tell women who to get married to and who not to get married to. As if you do not have sisters, as if you do not have female friends, as if you do not have people who you can call phenomenal women in your life. I don't understand why you are always bitter with Nigerians, why you are always bitter with women who are dating Nigerians. It's high time. It's high time we call a spade, and you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be thinking of how to get civilized as a continent, as a country, you as a person, you as a man, not going against women because they are married to a certain race. It's disgusting. It's very shameful. It's disgusting. Ni wanawake wangapi wamekufia in the hands of Kenyan men, irresponsible Kenyan men